What's going on, everybody? It is every other Wednesday night, and you know what that means. It's time for Seven's Wild Down South Boys Talking Toys. Right now, it is Down South Boy Talking Toys because we're waiting on the other boy. He had to make a last minute run out of the house. So, Pop is on the way. He's going to be here in just a few minutes. He was, I think he was said he was putting in his contacts. So, he'll be joining us in just a minute. And it was his turn this week to say that, to say it's every other week. You know what that means? So he missed it. So yeah, he had to do it in a month. So what's going on? I see the chat is jumping. I'm gonna holler at you guys in just a second. I see everybody's talking about the weather. It's been absolutely crazy here yesterday. Actually, the last few days, but today and tomorrow here. So it snowed last night. I had a kind of a jacked up day today. I was up listening to Pop and Matthew last night on Pop Blender's channel on Evening Blend. I got through listening to them and I went straight to bed. I was actually in bed when they got done. I was like, bye, y'all. Click, rolled over. Couldn't sleep, woke up at like 1, went and looked out, and it started snowing right as I went to bed, and everything was white. You know how you can see it reflect, makes everything bright. I'm thinking, well, cool, we'll probably get called off work tomorrow. I drive a, company truck, not thinking nothing about it. Got up, had to run to the restroom, did that, went back to bed. Sucks getting old. Had a hard time going to sleep. I woke up again. Like, I'm gonna see what it looks like now. Looked out, it's even whiter. There's even more snow. It's still snowing like hell. Like, all right, cool. But it was that powder snow. It wasn't the good stuff. It wasn't the snowball stuff. It was the that stuff that just blows around and whatnot. So I didn't think nothing about it. So went to bed, got up. As soon as I got up, like an hour and 10 minutes before I leave, phone rings. It's my boss, and he's like, "All right." He's like, "What's it doing at your house?" I'm like, "Well, it's white. I mean, I can't see my road. What do what do you want?" Like, I just woke up. I hadn't even taken the dog out yet. So he's like, "All right, I'm gonna go to the office, see how the roads are. We'll call you back, let you guys know whether to go out or not." And there's this whole thing on whether or not they will pay us for the day. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So I'm chilling. Like, yeah, I'll be at the house today, man. I got a review to do. I got stuff to work on for the show tonight. I'm sitting there, I eat me a bagel, drink some coffee, and I kick back and I start watching Cobra Kai. And next thing I know, it's like 10 o'clock. And I ain't heard from this dude yet. I'm like, I better call him. I call him up, and that's something that my manager does a lot. So I call him up. I'm like, "Hey man, I'm just what's the verdict? I hadn't heard anything from you. You ain't checked your email, have you?" No, that phone's in the other room. You said you was gonna call me back, not email me. I ain't even been looking at email. He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Well, if you guys can get out and do it safely, go out and work." We was able to go to the office. The roads ain't that bad. I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm halfway through an episode of Cobra Kai. I got sleep pants on. I said, "Well, see, what if we don't go out?" And he was like, "Hey, that's fine. Get your schedule right and put in for a day of vacation time, and it's excused." Like, vacation time? I'm not fixing to use a day of vacation time for this in February. Like, I'll find something on my schedule in an area that got less snow. So, needless to say, we got snow. The roads were bad early this morning, but the more traffic got on them, they did kind of clear up. So, at like 11 o'clock this morning, I left my house and drove an hour and a half the other way to go do a few jobs that were in the area that didn't get a lot of snow. And by the time I come home, I got home at like normal time. I got home at like 5 o'clock. I get home usually between 4:30 and 5:30 most days. I got home at like 5 o'clock, normal day, worked like 6 hours, whatever, 5.5 hours. Roads are just fine. Like maybe I should have just taken the damn vacation day. I got this review I want to do and all that. I'm like, you know what, man? So the hell with it. So we have snow on the ground, but it was one of them days that it was cloudy, but there was just enough of the ultraviolet stuff coming through the clouds that melted a lot of it. So by the time I come home, all the roads were pretty much clear. My driveway was clear. I have to park at the top of my driveway on nights before it snows or I can't get out. My driveway is like that. It's just steep enough that you can't get any traction to get up. Yes, Clint. We are, or I am talking about the Nashville weather. And so today, on Wednesday, tonight, and tomorrow, the high tomorrow is something like 23 or 24, something like that. So it's going to be really, really cold overnight tonight and all day tomorrow and tomorrow night. So most everything that melted, it's all going to refreeze, but most of it dried up between the wind and the little bit of sun and the traffic and whatnot. So that's just a little bit of what's been going on here today. It's been crazy, and most of that storm.
Welcome into a Wednesday. Oh, hey, wait a minute.
We're
Oh,
already
I'm
at
oh, I'm late.
your turn.
Oh, I'm late. Oh shit.
It was your turn too. So now you
Holy
gotta wait. I get to
moly.
say it 2 weeks in a row.
That's right. All right. You continue, please. Don't let me interrupt the stream by all means. I have a habit of doing that. So I'm going to mute myself right now.
I had to go pick up another bottle of Four Roses. So, by all means, if you watched him and Matthew tonight, use your quotations in the chat. Most most of that storm went west and north of us, so Kentucky border and up into Kentucky got it worse than we did. And you said at your house it had pretty much cleared up except for like the yard, right?
Yeah.
And you just
Yeah.
had to go. You did just have to go make a last minute run to the store, so the road's all in good shape where you're at.
Absolutely, they are. For anybody that's concerned, my sister was on her way to work, and I talked to her for a minute while I was on the road, and she has a long way to go to get to work, about 50-minute drive one way, and
With no traffic.
with no traffic, and so yeah, she made it in, but she was a little worried on one of the interstates that has some overpasses and stuff like that, which is always a concern. But yeah, it's all good here. I had no trouble, although I'm glad I didn't have to make the phone call or text to you because I was hot footing it, and yeah, I blew right past the one of Metro's finest.
He just didn't want to get out and get cold. That's what
Nope,
you got. If it
nope.
if it was 50 degrees out, you'd be another hour before you got here.
Oh no, dude. Seriously, yeah. He obviously did not because I was in the wrong and I hit the brakes and I knew it and that feeling washes over you. You
Like,
know what I'm talking about? The heart skips a
don't pull
beat. You
out.
get the chills
Don't pull out
and
of there.
and then all of a sudden it's like you looking. I'm waiting, nothing. I said, oh god, woo,
And
dodged a bullet.
it's like most of the roads where you're at, like the main roads, it's like 45. So you went down to like 43, and then you saw he didn't pull out, and it went right back to 50, didn't you?
Oh, you already know, dude. I did want to say hello to everybody in the chat. If you have been making your way down and
I
people
have
are
not. I've been
posting
waiting on
in.
you.
Okay, cool,
Uh,
man. So my apologies, but a much needed last second run. Sometimes that happens, and uh, as I've said it many times, I don't like to be late. I know you and I are pretty much on time most every time, and I know I usually am as well. So my apologies to everybody, and shit. I mean, 21 people right off the bat, dude, tuning in. I
yep.
love it. I really appreciate it. Absolutely.
Yep. By all means, and hit that like button if you hadn't. I remember to say it toward the beginning this time. So while we're at it, we talked about the weather. Let's talk to the chat and see who all's here. Got son of a crayon slayer first in the house. What is happening, man?
Meow.
Daredevil Dave is in the house. All right, meow.
All right,
Hey,
meow.
hey, meow.
Come on,
Meow.
meow.
So, Aaron the Toy Enhancer is here. Yes, we are way overdue for a good Joe movie. Crusty Old Crow. What's happening, brother?
Crow Daddy.
Let's see. Turk Murphy's Toy Solutions. I always have to slow down when I say Turk's whole name.
Yes, a lot of us like to shorten it up or maybe make it something funny or whatever. But in all honesty, I would like to know, because I don't know, Turk Murphy's Toy Solutions. I'd like to know some of those solutions. You see what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and so I'd like to see some of those solutions and hear a little bit more about it, and maybe where that name came from. If that sparks an interest in anybody, it does me.
let's hear it. Oh, Derek Holloman is here. What's going on, Derek?
Big
Let's
dude.
see. Get on down, and I'm looking for names, so I'm not necessarily reading over what was put out there. So let's see. A bunch of you guys. Viper Scout is in the house. What's going on, Viper Scout? Warming my nuts under a blanket. It's freezing. That's what I was doing last night when I was listening to Pop and Matthew. Matter of fact, I've talked about how cold this room is in my house. I've got my little heater sitting over here beside me. It does good in this room.
Yeah, you told me you were going to bring it in. Tell me he's going to
I
bring it
do.
in.
Yeah, and it actually, my living room has vaulted ceilings, so it only does so much in the living room. But in this little room, I'll have to cut it down in a minute. So Joe Fan is here. What is
Joe
going
Fan,
on?
what's up? Dedicated,
There it is.
man. I love it, dude, man. Dedicated, absolutely. Tunes in every time, it seems like, man. It's so appreciated. You have no idea. As many other people here are, right? I mean, obviously, but yeah, man, it's so
Absolutely.
awesome.
Roman
And
Graham is here. What's happening? What's going on, Roman?
all right, then.
Let's
Not the
see.
pup. Not the
Oh,
pup.
the diva needs to make an entrance. I think he was talking about you there.
He's talking about me. If you know me, then that's very true, especially about 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, I got some video of some entrances to some bar competitions, making an
Bar
entrance a time or
competitions,
two.
stage performances. As a matter of fact, there's one DVD that I have sitting right over on a record player. I need to burn that in or save it to the PC, and I need to show you guys sometime me dressed up as Brett Michaels singing some Brett Michaels. If you
Oh,
ever want to
I
see
know.
that,
At one point, you showed a couple of the pictures of it, but we
I
hadn't seen the
did.
video.
Yeah,
My mom
man.
might be in that video too
She was
somewhere.
there. She was there
Yeah,
actually at the gig. She was there watching me. It was a lot of fun.
yeah,
But yeah, that could be fun. But anyway, yes,
yeah.
Diva is
We need
probably correct.
to we need to do that. Mr. Madgus is in the house. What's going on, Mr.
Mad
Madgus?
Goose.
Clint Jorgensen talking about Nashville weather. Yes, we were. Bobby Wald. Sounds like when you're a kid listening to the radio for a snow day. We used to have to get up and watch Snowbird. And
Snowbird. Your mom was a big fan of Snowbird,
man,
dude.
mom
Bill
was a big.
Hall.
She had that sweatshirt, that hand painted Snowbird sweatshirt. That was the mascot for the local channel here that we watched. It was a giant penguin, and he was
Did
the Snowbird.
did any of y'all in the chat, like locally, did any of y'all have like a local mascot, like a local, I mean, our weatherman at that time for Channel 4, his name was Bill Hall, and he was a local celebrity, big time local celebrity, and he had this little puppet, and it was Snowbird, and they do the Snowbird report, and they do and so I know we're not alone in Nashville, right? I'm sure a lot of people have had that. Um, and um, and I'd like to know if you guys did have one, what the name of it was. Just throw it in the chat, whatever, if you had one in your city. But I'm curious because I've never really heard anyone else ever mention. We had the snow cat, that's apropos. But It's gonna be real snowy, y'all.
It's gonna snow, y'all.
but but you know what I'm saying though, right? Like or as your shirt might say, somewhere in DC it might be the Snow Eagle. Uh
Oh,
but did anybody else have like a local mascot or a local weather mascot other than your good-looking weather woman, and in our case, a very unattractive weather man at the time?
but that man was never wrong.
Well, I'd like to think your memory serves me, he was
Shut
never
up. He was never
wrong.
wrong. He was
Okay.
never wrong. Shut up.
For your mother, he was never
That's
wrong.
right.
Okay.
That's right. But so what Bobby was saying, listening to the radio, so he had a map, and this was before graphics and computer monitors and generated stuff. He had this map, and it would cut to a video in the counties. It had a video behind it of snow falling, and they had little things that went over the counties, and they would pull them off. And if your county was out of school, your county would have snow falling through it. And
Yeah,
as time went,
it'd be clear,
yeah,
and it'd have the little.
yep,
Yep.
as time went on, that did get replaced with a animation, but it was same concept. So,
Yes.
and then he retired, and they phased out Snowbird, and it all went to shit. But so that's that
Yes.
story. I'm sure that's what everybody wanted to hear.
Product of its time,
Yep.
but
Oh well.
probably classic graphics that everybody had
Yeah.
when they were in the 80s, right?
For sure. So finish saying hi to
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
Johnny
working our way
Reno.
down. Let's go.
No, I think Johnny put a bunch of little pictures of Arizona in there because I saw him say it was like 74 where he's at right now.
Man, I tell you what,
Uh,
I'd love for some 74, right? Like I'd love for. We're gonna be about 60 come Monday, Sunday, somewhere in there.
yeah,
60.
it's telling everybody the high tomorrow is like 22, but by Tuesday it's supposed to be back in the mid 60s. So
Right, right.
if you don't like it, wait 30 minutes.
That's
Frank, doom on
Nashville.
you. What's
Frankie
going on,
boy,
Frank?
Frankie boy, what's
Let's
going on?
see. Got a lot of folks in here. Dreadnought
Yeah, man.
K6 in the
Yeah,
house.
hell yeah. Dreadnought.
Let's see. Almost. Yeah, Aaron's pop almost got popped by the cops.
Yeah, yeah. Aaron, I almost did. It was a close call, but I survived it, thankfully. And most of the time in my life, I've been able to, probably a lot of us have. We probably had more close calls than we've had actual calls. So yes, very much so.
Eric Thurman is in the house. What's
Big
going
E.
on, man?
Hey, Eric has I saw a milestone actually.
Yep.
And I'm gonna look it up real quick. If do you remember that? He had a milestone come
Put
up. I
out
saw him
his
post about it.
100th video.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And Eric, I'm going to tell you, I am 100% guilty of not being able to tune in or watch a lot of those videos. And it probably has to do more with your stuff not coming up in my feed. And we're all guilty of this, right? We've all watched our own favorite creators and stuff like that. But I need to go back and give you some likes and give you some comments on that stuff because obviously the stuff I have seen, you do some amazing work and you're very talented, obviously, and you appreciate your craft.
It
So,
will make you
yeah,
hungry.
yeah, well, and but yeah, I think we're all guilty of that. But I need to go back and actually do some more of that. I try to do that on Instagram. I don't know if you do as well, but I know on Instagram because I
Yeah.
check in every couple days. I'll have like 8 messages. And of course, out of those 8 messages, some of them are like 14 memes I haven't watched yet. War chest full of toys. But anyway, and on 2 accounts. But anyway, and so I feel bad because it's like, damn, you haven't checked in 2 days, but I got a bunch of messages, and but I always try to go back and like those photos. At the very least, put a comment or a like on it or a heart,
Yeah.
something like that, because I know it does help, and I know that's what we all like to have, regardless, is the feedback. Whether you like it or not, feedback is great, and
Yeah. Beetlejuiced him up.
I have that ability. I do it at work, actually. Um, Quick story. There's many times on my way to work, if there's somebody I haven't seen in 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 6 weeks. On my way to work, sometimes as I'm thinking about the day, thinking about the shift, I'll say, "Man, damn, I haven't seen Jeffrey and his wife Janice. It's been a while." And I swear to you, dude, I swear to you, it happens all the time. That day, those people
The
will
door.
come walking in the door. It happens to me all the time. And it's become a running joke actually at work now when people look up for somebody they haven't seen in a couple weeks and they're
Yeah.
like, "Did you conjure them up?" I'm like, "Well,
Yep.
I was kind of thinking about Phil on my way to work today." It's like, so yeah, war chest falls into that category evidently.
What's going on, War Chest? Full of toys. Let's see. I got a couple stars here. Joe Fam had some tornadoes come through last Saturday. Yeah,
Holy shit.
they hit west of here. There was a little bit, but it wasn't bad. But those same storms come through here last Saturday. And let's
War
see.
chest sent me some pictures. He texted me some pictures of the snow before we got ours. He sent me a
Yeah.
few, and then I did the stream with Matthew, and there wasn't much, little inklings, flakes here and there, and then I walk outside after we got done, and it was completely covered. Right, it was a winter
Oh yeah.
wonderland. Took a couple pictures and sent them back to War Chest, and I believe maybe Matthew, and
Well, I know
yeah,
when you
whatever.
guys right before you guys finished up, like I took pretzel out and I flipped on my floodlight because it's the only, if it's just barely starting, that's all only way I can tell is look at it in the light,
Yeah,
and it was
right.
starting to come down. It wasn't just heavy, but it was starting to snow. I'm like, all right, well, cool. And that was when I come back in and got ready for bed and finished listening to you guys. I was actually already brushed my teeth and was in bed when you all finished. So that's what I was saying. I woke up at like 1 and looked
Yeah.
out and I was like, hey, all right, snow day tomorrow. Not so much.
What a
Heartwarming.
curse, y'all. What a curse as we get older. What a curse that you have to wake up like twice in the middle of the night to go take a leak and go to the bathroom, or you just wake up and you're like, shit, I can't go back to
The
bed.
It's
It
both in my
sucks.
cases, but the gallon of coffee I drink throughout the day probably don't help with
Okay.
the bathroom part,
And how
honestly.
many
So
of us are guilty at this point now? Well, I say at this point, but what I mean is that I'm guilty of drinking, 2 cups of coffee at 7:30 at night on my day off. I'm surprised I don't have one now, but it's because I did have a little four rosé, and you have your coffee, but I didn't want to fix a coffee, a Red Bull, and four roses. That's a
yeah.
that's a heart attack waiting to happen, and I just don't want to subject anyone to that on stream. Okay,
Well,
that's
when I went the other night when Punk was doing Clubhouse and I got on there, I had I had a glass of coffee, a bottle of water, and a rocks glass full of blackberry crown and ginger ale all sitting
okay.
over here, and I was
That's a good
I was
combination.
sampling I was sampling each. So,
That's a good
but
combination, and yeah, make your way around one by one. What's
the
Clint saying here?
lived in Utah, with some of the most snow in the country. Had one snow day in kindergarten to 12th grade years. That's probably like about like Crow, I would imagine.
But also in Utah too, and correct me if I'm wrong because you know, but do they not have some maybe higher elevation where they have some peaks or maybe they have some areas that do get snow, right? Like regularly. I mean,
No,
again,
no, he means because they're so used to the snow,
yeah.
there was only
Oh,
one so
okay,
bad.
okay. My
They
bad.
had a
I
snow
misread
day.
that, and that I
Yeah.
apologize. Okay, yeah, that
Uh,
makes sense. You talk to people all the time like that, and they're like, "We never got out of
yeah.
school."
Yeah,
You
they
know?
didn't. I've said that talking to Punk. He was like, We didn't miss school because of snow up here. So,
Right.
uh, Crow says, "What's changed with War Chest tonight?" And I would say it's because we've only been going for 30 minutes and he's
That's
already
true.
here.
That's true. I did
Had
see
to
Wraith
guess.
Mace slip in here, and also Justin Booth. If I missed either of them earlier while you
I
were
hadn't gotten that
going
far.
down. Okay, my bad, my bad. Yeah, War
Yep.
Chest in the house,
So
or Wraith Mace in the house, and then Justin Booth. Supervisor sent us home after 2.5 hours of work. Snow was coming down pretty bad. It looked like it was coming down kind of funky last night for us, but in reality, it was that very thin, powdery snow,
yeah, it was
and
that
just
janky snow.
not the good kind. I mean, not the good kind, not the sticky kind, not the kind that keeps you home for a couple days with a nice, packet of Swiss Miss and all that stuff. It's just kind of that. You ain't gonna end up. You're gonna have to go to work,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
you already
that's
know.
basically what it was. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't pull this. Although I could have, I could have stayed out, but it would have cost me a vacation day, and I wasn't. I ain't trying to. They did that to me last year. So last
Yeah.
year we
Yeah.
had snow, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago, whatever. Last year on Martin Luther King Day. This year it was the
Mm-hmm.
week before Martin Luther King Day that we got that bit of snow. But last year it literally fell on Martin Luther King Day and it shut everything down for the week. I couldn't get out of my driveway. We were out all week. So what they did was they paid us for 2 days, and then 2 days we we didn't get paid. And unbeknownst to me, they used vacation time for it, and I didn't know they were doing that. So I got to the end of the year for my vacation, and they're like, "Well, you're 2 days short." Like bullshit. So we got that worked out, but I ain't letting that happen again this year. I was like,
Yeah,
man,
but man, any company's gonna try to pull
oh
that
yeah,
shit. You already know.
they're
That's
pretty
how it
good.
goes.
They're pretty good about occasionally they will pay us because we're out driving around in their truck, and
Yeah, that's
it
true.
might not, we cover the whole middle of the state, so it might be fine over here, but over here, like, you can't go anywhere.
Now,
So
now speaking of which, with the truck, not to get into legalities or anything that might, mess anything up or anything like that, but you had a little incident last week. The resolution of said incident with the work truck and traffic and all that, it happens. It happens
oh
whether
yeah,
you want it to or not. It happens. And when you think you're reading somebody's mind and you're doing Jedi mind tricks, they decide they're going to block you and do their own thing at the same time. And that's that, right? So is everything going to turn out okay with that?
oh yeah. That's
Okay.
actually what I was gonna tell my boss today when I talked to him when he called me back. I
Okay.
was gonna be like, "Well, I already had one wreck this month. You sure you want to send me out today? It was dry then." So,
Yeah, right.
um,
Okay.
but so yeah, everything's cool. Actually, gonna get the. I think we're gonna put it in the shop next week. So
Okay, okay,
no,
good.
no repercussions so far that I've heard. So I'd imagine it would have come down by now. But I didn't get a citation. I don't. I was one may come in the mail. I don't know, but they
Nah,
didn't. I
hell.
wasn't given one on scene. So fingers crossed. Um, listen, we go back. Johnny says, don't drink coffee at all unless it's Irish, all whiskey and no coffee. Well, that's called Bushmills.
Yes, and I was actually just responding to him, of course, God dang it. Sometimes when you try to respond in a chat, especially on your phone, it's like you accidentally hit the enter button when you're just trying to hit the quotations or the apostrophe, and then it's like you look like an idiot. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
hey,
hate
Johnny.
I hate trying to chat in a YouTube stream on my phone, man. I
Man.
hate it. That's why usually if I watch one like in the living room, watch it on the TV, and I have the laptop, and I'll still mess up because of the way I sit. I'll hit the trackpad, and
Yeah.
it'll do something kind of crazy. And sometimes it like I hit the trackpad and it highlights shit, and then it'll erase half the message. It's just a pain
Yes.
in the ass. So
Mine's more of just misspellings, and then while I'm trying to maybe hit the backup button or the last character delete button, I might accidentally hit the button that sends it, and then
yeah,
depending on what stream you're watching and all that, it's like by the time you decide to fix it, the people in there, they don't even care. They're just
yeah,
like, yeah, whatever, or we're not even paying
yeah.
attention to you anyway. It's like no one's gonna respond to that message, so it's just like, all right, fuck it, I'll leave it. I'm just gonna
My
leave it.
luck, that's
Nobody
that's
cares.
the one that they highlight to
Yeah,
read.
maybe.
It's
So
like
So did anybody watch this past Saturday's takeover? It was a Monday Toy Ramblings where Punk took the night off and maybe just did the Saturday night or whatever and
I
went on
watched
for fuck 7+ hours. I mean that was a
I
seven
watched
plus hour stream. Um, and then you jumped in there. I jumped in really really late. But it got real crazy there at the end, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
It got
Very
real conspiracy there at the end. If anybody's
uh,
gone back and watched that, it got real interesting to say the least. But it was 7+ hours. It was like 4 a.m. his
yeah.
time. By
Oh,
the
it was like
time
it was
we
5, almost
then we
5,
I mean, dude, and then I think we sat for another, I don't even remember, a little bit
almost an hour,
afterwards.
about 40 minutes backstage after
Good
that.
Lord, y'all. Like, and I didn't join until the very end. Yeah, Turk was there. Turk was there. Yeah, it was, but it was just so funny because I'm like, golly, this thing's been going on forever. And then it got really, really interesting with all the conspiracy stuff. And
Yeah, it got wild. Lunchbox Killers in the house. What's going on,
hey,
man? So what happened was, you guys want to go back, check it out. Go back, check it out. It was
just
probably
a
the
brief,
last hour.
yes,
Um,
just a brief
but
summarization. How about that?
yeah, Steve from Delta 17 showed up, and somehow we got to talking about like conspiracy theories,
Oh
and
man,
he knows all of them. So
he it was
we were
yeah.
Googling stuff that he was telling us about and then talking about it. It was pretty crazy, some of the stuff that we were looking up. So
Some
that
of
was
it
a good time.
some of it I'd heard about, but it's so funny because, and this is again conjuring people up. Matthew was still awake, even though he had already said like an hour and a half prior that he was out. He's like, I'm gone, guys. I got to go to bed. And
Yeah,
then
he's
like an
like,
hour and a half later, he's like, man, the stuff you guys are talking about, where the hell is Pop? And I've been listening and literally made a comment right at that time. And it was almost like conjuring someone out of thin air. And so then Punk's like, well, send the link. 3 stars, send him the link, but oh my gosh, yeah, y'all need to check the end of that out. It really got interesting. Now, there's not pictures. It's not like anybody sharing, who this person looks like and the story of this person, that person. But my point being is that as you listen to the last hour or so of it, start looking that stuff on your own. Like looking it up
yeah,
on your own and just kind of going down that rabbit hole because that can be a lot of fun sometimes. Now, I'm not going to say all of it is just I'm a full believer, but some of it was very interesting. And I had a lot of fun that last hour just sitting there listening and then jumping in real quick. It was interesting. It was something else. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you need, yeah, everybody needs to watch that.
Turk says it got good at the end. What, it wasn't good the whole time? Wait a minute.
Well,
Wait a
it is
minute.
what it is. Hey,
Uh,
listen, Dreadnought, just so you know, I'm going to
yeah,
tell you, you look, some of the messages you've sent me, and I find your information valuable. I appreciate it. Again, I'm the kind of person that likes to take things from everyone, right? And consider all sides, consider every angle. And you send me some really interesting stuff, and I very much appreciate that because a couple conversations you and I have had and back and forth. Um, but man, this stuff was, it was just one after the other, after the other, after the other. Just and of course, Punk's like, well, Steve, I mean, what else you got? And he's like, well, have you heard the one about this? Have you heard the one about that? It's just
Nope.
literally, it was like a nonstop checklist. It's like, oh my
And
gosh.
well, yeah, and there was no notes. That was all up here. So
Yeah, no
uh,
notes. This is all retained information that he had. There was no him going down his little, Google
and
Keep or nothing like that.
if you Dreadnought, if you do go back and watch it, there is actually a point where we're talking about that stuff. And I said, where's Dreadnought K6 when you
Yes.
need him?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. It was funny,
it,
man.
it was wild. It was fun though. But
But
yeah,
yeah.
that was a long stream, but we had a
Woo.
good time. So
$7 hours.
um had fun. So let's see. That's always a good time. Is
And Oz was
when
supposed to take the night off and decided he would join in and then get on
yeah.
stream. Of course, it was dark and all you could see was the cherry from a cigarette or whatever. And as usual. But it was so funny because it's like, aren't you supposed to take the night off here? Like,
Yeah, and
we
he
none
was
of
like,
us
all
can
right.
do that. None of us
Yeah,
can do it. You know that.
he was like, all right, guys, I really am gonna get out of here. And then he still hung out in the chat for a
Still
minute,
hung out in the chat
for a
for a
while.
while, and I was like, people had to beat him off with a stick practically. I
Yeah.
mean, that
But
literally what it was
but
like.
so yeah, Oz needed to take a break. So I hope he got rested up. And, he
Yeah,
does that 6-7 hour stream every Saturday. So that's
that's
hopefully
a
he got
beast.
good and rested up.
That's a beast.
Oh, let's see. Message here. Okay. So I had a message I had to look
So
at. So
do we have any news? Do we have any new information? Doesn't have to be GI Joe. Could be about anything. I'm ready. I'm
I
willing. I'm
got
able.
I got a little bit. I got not
Okay.
much. I don't have much. There may be some stuff that's showed up since this. I didn't save a whole lot, and some of it's been talked about, but I figure we would give our thoughts on some of it. So let me pull this up, and they kind of did this last night, but we're gonna do it today as well. So did everybody enjoy the fan stream yesterday?
Well, I really did. I'll tell you, so much information, and it got me so excited for next product. So much so that I wanted to consume new product, get excited for next product, and then consume that product when it comes out. Yeah, no, obviously being facetious. Is this a big deal? Is this a big deal to you? Let me ask you that. Is this something that you either A was really looking forward to, or B it's a slow news cycle, right, for toys and movies and everything. Is this something you were really looking forward to maybe obviously so you and I could talk about it? Perfect
Oh
timing,
yeah.
right?
This was gonna be part of our topic tonight was
Yes.
what did we like that we saw? What did we order? What did the chat order? But we didn't get that. We got that. we, we went from that to that. So they
That's a
delayed it a whole
bad
ass month.
thumbnail. I was
uh
looking forward to talking about it myself because I know you and I do this every 2 weeks.
yeah.
And it's like, it's nice sometimes when not all the other bigger channels and streamers and, on a Monday night or a whatever night, that sometimes the gods treat us right and the planets align and we kind of get to come on and talk about what just came out, right? And I was looking forward to that. I really was,
Yeah.
and I hated that we weren't able to
I,
do that tonight.
I'm not gonna lie. I like it when stuff drops on Tuesday, so we can talk about it
Yeah,
on Wednesday. And you and Matthew even sometimes we'll talk about it on Tuesday a little bit.
sometimes. Or you and
Um,
Crow, if it's an off
yeah,
week for us, then it gives you and
yeah.
Crow a chance to chat about it. Yeah, man, I'm with you.
What's up? Same time, toys. What's up, Shane? God damn it, guys! I got a certain Viper today. Which one is certain Viper? What does he do?
Well, you know who that is. I got the
No, I don't know.
delivery
No.
notification today on my
Wait,
FedEx account.
Saw Viper?
No, I got the delivery notification today on my FedEx account of something that I sent out.
Oh,
Took me
okay.
forever to do it, but folks, again, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was down for the count, and it really
Okay.
sucks. Like, it is the worst timing ever for those of you that have been, wanting the Tuco Viper and on the way, and it just came to me, and it just happened to be probably the worst time of the year for most
I,
people, evidently.
that was like that went so over my head, but you need
Yeah.
to check Instagram more often, Shane.
Yeah, he probably checks it more than I do. Yeah, it said it
It's
was gonna be there about
about even.
Wednesday, and so I believe he got the notification that it had been delivered, and so it's safely in the next hands,
Good.
and I know I'm at least gonna get one more go around, with him later down the line, and I have to
Yeah.
make the most of it then. But I was really looking forward to doing it this time, and it just did not work out. Sucked.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, I was looking forward to talking about them
yeah,
tonight, but
yeah.
well, I guess guess we'll be
Hmm.
talking about it. Let's see, that's 1 week, that's
March
2 weeks. Trying
18th.
to look ahead.
So what are we
3 weeks.
looking at? Look, I'm going to pull up on my phone really quickly.
It's a long
That is
time.
the day before my mom's birthday. And so we're gonna bounce ahead. March 18th. That will be that's gonna be the day before you and I go live. How much fun is that?
I didn't know if it was you and me or you and Crow, so
Nope,
we
it's
we
you.
will
It's
get to
you and
do it
me.
then.
It's you and me
Uh,
because as I'm looking at my calendar,
Nice.
that's exactly. It's going to fall right after St. Patty's Day. It's going to fall on a
It's on a
Tuesday before
Friday too.
Matthew and I go live Tuesday night,
No, it's not.
and then it'll go, and then we'll be able to talk about it on Wednesday. I don't know how much Matthew and I will get into that. It's not as much a part of our stream, but I do appreciate and give him the opportunity to bring up any information, figures that he likes, has bought, anything like that, because I know he loves that, and I love that for him. So, but we'll get a chance to talk about it. We're gonna get a
Yeah,
chance to
so
to to, to do it. So that'll be good. That's
we'll
gonna fall great for us. So we didn't really miss out.
So I did not save the screenshot of what they said. The dreadnoks have interrupted our stream. So do we think that we're gonna see a thunder machine?
Yep. Yeah, I think we
I
are.
think we might. I
I
think we
think we
might.
are.
I
I
think
do.
that'll be one they may surprise us. We know the all strikers coming. I would say I would be surprised if they do drop that out of the blue with no, you know, actual confirmation or
Oh, just
leaks or
say here it
whatever.
is. Pre-order starts tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, or whatever. Yeah, sure.
Or even, hey, here it is, blah, 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 but go up before the all striker does.
Yeah, my thing is I would like to get some of these figures that have been pushed back to the summer or whatever of this year, before we, I mean I get it whatever. But it's frustrating to have, gone back and ordered something or whatever, and then I get a message that says, "Yeah, Dalton's supposed to be dropped on your doorstep today, but guess what? It might be 8 years from now." Like whatever. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
yes, I could go get him, go out of my way. I know that. I know you have some things in the works as well with guys like that. But I just like to wait. But at this point, I'm kind of getting tired of waiting.
Yeah. And it's really weird, like with some of the stuff that they've done. So I did finally get dial tone. I got him yesterday. I got him right there. I have not got my review done. It should be up tomorrow
Yeah.
night late. But I just got him, and I got him from GameStop. Pulse is still showing like September for dial tone. So yeah, they need to get their ass in gear on sending out stuff. So back to your
Yep.
original
Yep.
question about
Yep.
this
Yep. Yep.
year, from this to this. I'm a little disappointed, but at the same time, like whatever. Like I wanted to talk about it tonight. I wanted to see obviously what they're gonna show off and everything, but I'm fine with not committing that chunk of money right now. I just
Yeah.
wonder if it's gonna double by waiting. another month, like
Well, that's
instead of
true. That yeah.
four figures in a vehicle, here's eight figures, two deluxe figures in a vehicle. So
That is
like,
something that
still,
we've had to kind of deal with before. You are correct, and I guess really and truthfully, in one sense, the way I don't like the way they do it, which is like, hey, pre-order it, we'll take your money 4 days before we ship it to you. In one sense, I don't like that. In another sense, I do appreciate that when it comes to shit like this, if that would have to happen, right? Is
yeah.
that at least you can pre-order them. You can at least lock them in. If you want to go other routes, that's fine. But at least you can lock them in and get it done and then go from there. So, whatever. If that's how they do it, that's fine. We all figure, look, bottom line, this. We all figure it out.
Yeah.
We all figure out a way to get it, right? No matter how we do it.
So I'm disappointed, but at the same time, I'm like, it's whatever. Like it's coming. I wanted it for us to discuss tonight, but we'll get it. Whatever. It's
Yeah.
money. I
Yeah.
don't
The
have to
stream will
commit.
come. It's fine.
But what you said is what I do. Like I'm gonna order it on Pulse. I'm gonna order it all from Hasbro and probably get it all somewhere else and cancel that shit.
Yep. Yep. That's right.
So
Um,
Aaron says we need the Thunder Machine at this point. So many good Dreadnoks. We deserve Thrasher. Yes, but I also think I agree with that, but I also think Crow has a very good point right here. I think that it may be Heart Wrencher and either the Dreadnought cycle
okay.
or the Dreadnought repaint of the vamp.
When we did our like top 5 or something, and it's been a few months ago, we did kind of, hey, what would you like? What
Yep.
vehicles, small vehicles, would you like to see? Not HasLab, whatever. And that was one of mine.
Yeah.
Is that cycle?
The
I
cycle.
would love to see that cycle,
Yeah.
and I'd be okay with that if they did not announce the Thunder Machine, and they instead announced that. Now, look, I'm not a Heart Wrencher fan. It's not one of my figures, not one of my characters. Doesn't mean that I wouldn't fall in love with it, wouldn't like it. But my point is that that cycle, I'm okay with that. Would I rather have it, as Derek says here, the Thunder Machine over the All Striker? Yes, I would much. I think all of us probably would, especially based off of the renders we've seen of the All Striker. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
just it is what it is, folks, whether you like it or not. We all probably felt that way, right? But at the same time, yes, if the Thunder Machine wasn't announced, I'll take that cycle all day long if that's a replacement.
Yeah, I same. Like I would almost like I don't think I'd rather have it more than the Thunder Machine, but I do want it. I do like that cycle, and she's a perfect candidate to come with. She's a perfect candidate to come with the cycle, to come with the Dreadnought Ground Assault, or two figures with the Thunder Machine, and it's Thrasher and her. They haven't done that yet. They
Right.
haven't released any two-figure vehicles, and, that's something they might not do because honestly, they can milk the shit out of it.
Right.
But I would say it is a possibility, anyway, and I got Dreadnought K6. I've got you highlighted here, an announcement they're skipping a HasLab. If you're talking about that's going to be possibly in this fan stream, maybe that's
Right.
hearsay at this point. Nothing that's not been confirmed. That is, I'm not going to say there's no validity to it, but that's not been really confirmed by anything official. But wouldn't be the first time we've seen something leak out.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get a HasLab, but I don't think we'll get it until we may not get it even for SDCC. Maybe it might come later in the year, but I don't
Yeah.
see it hitting till 2027.
I mean,
Just like I think the Rattler will be January next
well,
year.
okay, and see that's the thing, right? So we have to understand. Evidently, there's some restructuring. There's some changes going on, right? There's some shit going on behind the scenes that we're not privy to. And obviously, we've seen those release dates change. We've seen those things be shuffled around. We've seen like extraordinarily late release dates for figures you've put a pre-order in for, right? Like
Yeah.
that's we've seen some that have been stretched out a little bit, but like some of these last ones, especially, were really, really long release. This
Yeah.
order, should be shipped, and it's like, you know, 12 months or 10 months or whatever it is. Like that's really usually pretty long. We don't usually get that, right? Um, but if that's the case, if we are going to go through kind of some reorganization and they're going to try to get a handle and try to, get more profit and it's business. It's business. Then I'm okay to an extent with maybe let's get the Rattler in, right? And you always like this. Let's get our hands on it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be dedicating another $300 or something when I haven't been able to see what I just got, what I just ordered,
Yeah.
and the quality of it, and the QC issues, and what's the stretch goals, right, and all that kind of stuff. We maybe know what those stretch goals are, but you know what I'm saying. So, would you guys in the chat be happy if they skipped a year to kind of get things back on track, to get a nice tight timeline again, instead of just pushing shit out and promising this and pre-ordering this, and then it comes out 11 months later or whatever at your doorstep if you don't go to Amazon or GameStop? Or do you want them to continue on with just here's the pre-order, here's the stuff? Or are you guys okay with maybe skipping a good time period and kind of letting things get back on track? I mean, I'm curious to know how people feel about that, because I almost think it's out of necessity that they have to reassess their business.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely going through some stuff where they're going to have to do some consolidating and some reconfiguring. And then we got the announcement where they want to concentrate on games more and taking the
Yeah,
games digital. So,
board games, you know. Yeah, I
I,
don't know, man.
I,
It's interesting.
I think that may be fueling some of they're gonna skip the HasLab stuff is just a culmination of the moving the headquarters, moving the factory, um, distribution dates, ship dates are going to be longer out this year.
Right.
That may be fueling some of that. I don't know. So Bobby here, yeah, that's what we were saying. Wonder Dreadnoks hacked your system. Could be Thunder Machine. That's what we're talking about. And Viper
Yeah.
Scout says, I don't think they would do $200 vehicles at the same time. I don't either. And I see Dreadnought saying if they skip the HasLab, they might. I can see them doing $200
Yeah.
vehicles and a HasLab, but spaced out.
Yep.
They do one at the beginning, they do one at the end. They do the All Striker, or if this is the Thunder Machine or whatever, they do that at the beginning, and then somewhere in the middle, there's a HasLab, and then maybe in December or November,
And
they put
see,
up another vehicle.
right. And I mean, everybody kind of chiming in here, like, or sorry, man, I didn't mean to step on
Right.
your toes here. I was just saying that, Mr. Magus saying, hey, my pocket wife wouldn't mind at all. It's Dreadnought K6. It's irrelevant. If they have one, I'll get it. If not, that's cool. Aaron says I'm good on saving money. I'm about to tap out, going broke. Let's see, Renegade Biker. I'll get back to that. Let me star that as we get more to what we're talking about. Derek Collins says I'm fine with skipping a HasLab this year. Um, Turk Murphy says I'm not tapping. Viper Scout says I wouldn't mind. I've backed all of them. I'm more interested in O-Ring. Daredevil Dave. I can stand it if they took some time off. So we're almost really, and of course, a punk with toy says you know nothing. You know nothing, sir. You know nothing.
What's up, Lawrence? Thank you for popping in.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate it. Always good to see you, buddy. So just taking a quick poll of the chat, and James Lucas rolling up in here. So that's my thing. Like, seems like everybody's kind of okay with that. Seems like everybody's okay with not having another HasLab just bang, bang, bang. Like, you know, make uh, deliberate decisions, right? Take
Yeah.
what your fans want, and let's make good decisions, not rash decisions moving forward. Let's make good decisions. Let's give the fans what they want. But that's also not try to milk the shit out of them and try to just go, hey, if you don't get on this HasLab, we know that you're still waiting on the figures you ordered 10 months ago
Yeah.
or whatever. So it seems like everybody's kind of okay with them maybe taking a little bit of time, taking a little bit
I
of
I
time.
wouldn't I wouldn't mind them taking a little bit of break from it. I mean, honestly, as long as it comes back, it comes back. It's good. The quality's there. If they wanted to take a break on that, I'm not gonna jump up and be like, oh, we're not getting a HasLab this year. Get the pitchforks as long as they keep other stuff coming, other stuff flowing. Maybe
Right.
some of these other price point vehicles to, if we didn't get a HasLab and I got a Thunder Machine or I got a Snowcat, the Cycle, something other than a combat toilet, uh, you know, the all striker stuff like that. I'd
Right.
be okay with that because I'm scaling back this year. Joe's still my main focus, but I'm gonna cut back on some of the stuff I'm getting this year. I'm not planning on being a completist this year, so I'd be okay with them skipping it, but don't string us along.
Okay.
That is my issue with some
Okay.
of the stuff they do is like we're never gonna get explanations for stuff, and they don't have any obligation to give us one, but they enrage their customer base. And I ain't talking about their 4-year-old customer base. I'm talking about their 40-plus-year-old customer base that buys this stuff. By never
Uncle
giving
Tim.
any kind of yeah, they're doing too much, fam.
Uncle Tim
Uh
gonna have a heart attack, y'all. Lord
yeah,
have mercy.
he gonna fall out.
Brother
He gonna
go, but
fall.
then like
One of
5 minutes
one of
later,
them.
gonna be like, listen, fam, I'm gonna order
Yeah,
all this
I,
shit.
I talked to the wife. We had a conversation about it. She said it's your money.
Do what you want, honey child.
Yeah,
I
do what you
love it.
want.
I
Uh,
love it.
he's funny.
But
So
yeah, I'm with you, man. I understand. I understand.
so
And
what did Renegade biker? What's going on, man? You
uh,
had this
yeah,
highlighted.
yeah, yeah. I just wanted just to make sure because I mean, I didn't want to. We're kind of taking a poll of everybody. Or sees Renegade Biker 24 says, "Have you all seen my latest videos? I do plan on making all of my 3D prints of the GI Joe and Cobra vehicles remote controlled and having a FPV camera." And the one thing I wanted to say, just off the top, I don't know how you feel, but personally. I don't mind if someone says, "Hey guys, made some new videos. Check it out." It is within what we do. It's within our community or fellowship, however you want to, talk about it. But I want to save it because it wasn't relevant to what we were kind of talking about at the time. But if anybody has the opportunity, go back and check those videos out, man. If that is in fact the YouTube channel for Renegade Biker 24. Like go check those videos out, man. I'm all about promoting somebody's stuff, man. It's rising tide lifts all ships. I don't give a shit. As long as everybody's
Yeah,
cool, everybody treats everybody good.
I'm
We
good
all
with
we're
that.
all
Go
in
check it
the
out.
same boat, man. So check it out. I'm all
Go
about
check
that.
out
But
the
I
prints.
wanted to hold on to that just because it wasn't relevant to what we were talking about at the
It's all
time.
right.
But I
I
found it
just
fit the
blowing
video.
through it, looking at all the starred stuff, wanting to make
Yeah,
sure it was
yeah,
good.
we got
So
a
that's
few.
all right. Yeah, so go go over
Yes,
and
sir.
go over and check his stuff out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I like some first person view on stuff.
Absolutely. Yes. I love customizations. I love, with creativity. I love creativity. Bottom line. That's all, what it's all about. I love creativity. So I like to see people doing cool shit. Bottom line.
Word. Um, And then Dreadnought, think we get the All Striker, Thunder Machine, Pulse Exclusive, Stinger Vamp, Python Patrol, Tiger Force, respectively, retail releases. Maybe we don't know what they're going to do with Python Patrol and Tiger
Yeah.
since Mass Device is replacing it at Target.
I'm gonna tell you, I love that. I don't give a shit. I'll take mass device. I'll take characters, enemies, mystical creatures, anything over Python Patrol in my book right now. I've had enough Python Patrol to last me for a year or two. And that's just my opinion.
I mean, I like Python Patrol, but I don't want a repaint of every single damn Cobra figure.
Don't need it. Don't
in
want
it.
it.
And that also means that they're going to do just as many in Tiger Force, and I don't like Tiger
Correct.
Force. So
So give me mass device. Give me weather dominator. Give me. I mean, you know, and I know a lot of people say, hey, you know what? We don't want all that shit, right? We're moving past that. These are updated. This is the new GI Joe. This is the classified. You know what? I love the Ultimates. I said it. I know a lot of y'all probably don't like them. I get it. They're not great figures. They have QC issues. I love the look of the Ultimates. I love those figures because that reminds me of my childhood. More than anything Classified has done, those remind me of my childhood. Are they great figures? Technically, no. But I love the look of them. I love the head sculpts. I love the accessories. I love the packaging. I love all of it. So I'm down with that shit. And I want Mass Device, right? I want Weather Dominator. You know, I want all of that stuff. I want all of it.
I want Weather Dominator. I just always liked it better. So,
I mean, you and me both. I mean, I agree. I mean, we're on the same page there.
And Viper Scout toys would be really hard to produce in America with minimum wage and environmental standards. What they are, yeah, you're completely correct right there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's see. I'm sorry. Viper Scout said, "Pop, them's fighting words. Fighting, ready. The old 1-2."
And Aaron says we have 3 kick-ass HasLabs already. Take your time on a really good one, and
I agree.
I can't argue with that because they're supposed to be dream projects, and the Hiss is not a dream project. The Dragonfly is not a dream project. The Rattler's not a dream project. It's a dream that we want them, and you know we want them in the line. The Whale is approaching a dream project. Rolling Thunder is a dream project. Headquarters is a dream project. So I'm good if they want to reassess, as long as they come back and they do it and it's all good, you know, when they bring it back. See what all reading through the chat. Night Raven videos, okay. Renegade. Oh, see, I like Python Patrol. That's my favorite sub team. If I got to pick one, it's Python Patrol and then Marauders for Joe. You can't count like Dreadnoks or Iron Grenadiers.
No. And listen again, look, I don't want it to be misconstrued. Like a lot of those sub teams like that were not. But I started aging out by the time you started to really get into those. So they don't mean as much to me. Now, give me a Brazil team and you got me hook, line, and sinker. Okay? Give me, you know, I mean, I'm sorry. That's how it was for me. It doesn't mean I don't appreciate those figures. And there are figures from the Python Patrol line, the Tiger Force line, save for my Tiger Force Flint. God dang it. Fuck that guy over. But I like the look of those. I appreciate what they did with those, you know, and they are fun. But I don't need any more of them right now. You know, I just don't. So, you know, that's all I was kind of saying earlier. It's just, you know, give me something else. Give me Mass Device. Give me cartoon stuff. Give me candy. Give me, you know what I mean? Like, if that makes sense, like just give me Dr. Venom. Give me, let me ask you.
I want that stuff, man. I wish they'd dig into that comic stuff. So
do you not think that shit wouldn't sell?
I think it would, because we're the ones buying it. And
Hell yes.
For most people, their comic over cartoon. The comic is the Bible. If Larry Hama wrote it, the comic, all of their lore, their continuity, their head canon, all of that stuff is the comic. So yeah, I think they'd sell the shit out of it.
Absolutely. So it's not like, I'm speaking about something that's just so out there, right? It's like, no, that shit would sell, right? Yeah, we got the reaction Quinn with the sled and shit. We got but like, let's
The
not kid
blind
ourselves.
old man with the sled dogs.
That shit, yeah, the blind old man with the sled dog, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like we would buy that stuff because that's the stuff we all remember. We all love that stuff.
And that's also what's going to get us into uh Zanya. That's Fred 7 that we all want.
Okay. I mean,
That's
I'd
what
love
you,
a Fred,
oh
right?
man, like an
I'd love a
official
Billy.
actual.
Give me a
Yeah,
Billy.
Billy,
Give me a
man.
Cobra Commander with a fucking ponytail and John Lennon glasses.
So I was about to say John Lennon
Okay?
glasses.
Like
Yeah, in a
seriously.
beret, a raspberry beret.
Don't think for one second it wouldn't sell because it would. I know it doesn't fit classified as a line right now, but we would all buy it. Hell, we
Oh
practically all
yeah.
buy everything anyway.
Yeah, we definitely. I know I would. I'd love a comic. I mean, we talked about that before, like with the retro, like do a comic
Yes, sir.
line similar to
Yes.
how retro is kind of going with cartoon stuff a little bit. And they are tapping in. We're getting mass device. Do something like that with the comics,
Give me
even if they're
Vietnam Stalker. Give me Vietnam Snake Eyes. Give me Vietnam Storm Shadow. You
three
know,
pack. Give me all of them. Give me Dickie Saperstein and
yeah.
Ramon, whatever. Like all the rest of their Fred Broca. Give me the rest of the platoon.
Because
I'll
the
buy a 5 pack.
realization is this, right? Like we know there's so many figures and we know they're going to run the gamut. And just last night I think this came up about the conversation about, Leatherneck and we're going to get a retro carded. Why the fuck do we need a retro carded Leatherneck? Like you don't
We don't.
need a retro carded Leatherneck. You just don't. So don't do that. Don't make every single figure and then put a retro card on every one because you changed the knee pads and one little thing here or there. Like that's
Yeah,
just there's no
that's a
point in all
waste.
that.
It's a waste of a slot. There's only
Yes.
there's only I think we're gonna get more separation in that where they're gonna go back. Now some of the troopers maybe, like the eel and the snow serpent, because they're easy repaints and people are
Sure.
gonna buy them. But yeah, I don't need this leatherneck is fine. This dial tone is fine. Um,
Right.
I'm glad they're doing retro Flint, but I was fine with other Flint. He was close enough, but I'm glad that's one I'm glad they are doing. I'm like you. I don't want or need two versions of every figure. Use that money and that plastic somewhere else and give us some new stuff. If you're gonna do repaints, do them in sub teams, or
Yeah, dude.
just do a retro or a sunbow whatever version. That way I don't need two different versions of every single figure,
Right.
and I'm not gonna buy them all.
And that's what
You
I'm
know, I,
saying because the realization is this, folks. When this line first started 4+ years ago or whatever, 5 years ago, whatever you want to call it, everybody's all in. But as with any product, as with any line, guess what happens? Fatigue sets in, and you start picking and choosing, and you start going, I don't really need them all. But
yeah,
early on, the first couple of years, the first 2 3 years, especially first 2 years, every single one, boom, boom, gotta have it. Didn't have that one, I gotta go back and get it. Let me scour the internet. Let me go grab that one. Can I find a deal on it? That's that 3 pack. And so, right, and then the HasLabs keep you going with the special projects. But the realization is this, is that with every line, every toy line, every product, after a while, they start to lose their luster. It's only natural.
yeah.
And so I'd like to get the really unique, cool shit before we start getting into 1993
Yeah,
and 1994 and
I would too.
92. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. And so I'd like to get into those really unique, cool things before this line starts to get old, because it is going to happen. It's unavoidable.
Well, I mean, I mean, it's already happening. I mean, I just
Yes,
said I'm
sir.
not going to be buying them all. I see a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are selling stuff just because, like you
Right.
said, they're getting fatigued.
And
There's all
hit this. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead. Go ahead. Don't. I apologize.
there's always going to be the diehard people. I mean, I'm always going to be a
Sure.
diehard Joe fan, but the wallet can only endure so much strain. So you're gonna if they start putting out four versions or whatever, two versions of every figure, and like, well, which one means the most to me? Or I've already got that guy. I don't care that much about this uniform or this color of the same uniform. When they start getting into actual V2s of people, like V2 rock and roll, like
Right.
that's a lot of people's favorite rock and roll figure is the V2 with the mini guns and the
Right.
tan outfit. I mean, I like it, but I'm fine with the one we got. So I got Crow's comment up reminding
Yeah, and
everybody
that's what
that
I was gonna say. I wanted you to go
Energon
ahead and go,
4,
because we have a few of them to actually go over, because there's a lot of comments in here. Actually,
yeah.
people have been kind of
Yeah, if you want to
typing
run
in.
through some of the ones you starred, I did
I'll
want
look
to
while you,
highlight that
yeah, and
that
while you
come out
talk about this too.
uh come out today. I'm probably going to get mine Saturday. I'm going to go pick it up. I won't have a chance before then, but
Yeah.
looking forward to it. I know they just released the cover for 7 and they're bringing in Beachhead. Beachhead is gonna make his introduction in 7 and I think Night Force. But you know, the covers are like the figures. Like I don't need spoilers. Maybe the week before or something, but
Right.
issue 7 is in May. Like I don't need 7 yet.
Right. So I've got a hold on mine. I go pick them up once a month. They just pull certain ones. Evidently, one of the ones they pulled for me was a variant cover that's worth like $30 or something, but they didn't mean to do that. They just happened to pull it. And it's one of my pulls, right? I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. And that was last month. So I have one of the variants that, they probably, if they go back and thought about it before they gave it to me, probably would have been like, but it just happened to be on the pull list because they probably have somebody that didn't know. But I'm loving that comic. I really am. And yet at the same time, I have like I have so many I need to read, and I keep saying that every week. But Mr. Magus
Just
said
gonna
something
pile up.
here. I know, but one day I'll knock them all out. Probably here in the next few days, hopefully, maybe Friday. But Mr. Magus says I need some October Guard. I agree 100%. I would
But the
love some October
original
Guard. Yeah, the
October
original.
card.
I don't need some bastardized, weird ass version.
Yeah.
Turk says the same thing. Triple, Daredevil Dave says the same thing. And then even Crow, as I say, me too. He's talking about the comic, but my
Comic.
point is that yeah, give me the October Guard. Uh, is there a reason why we haven't gotten it? Yes, right. We could talk about that all day long, but I think it's just so goofy that we're talking about comics, we're talking about toys from back in the day, and the October Guard really, truthfully, was not a super political weird thing, right? It was just it was just part of the comics. They were a group, it was a Soviet Union group, and they helped GI Joe here and there, right, back and forth, friendly rivalry.
Friendly rivals. Yep.
Yep. Renegade Biker 24 says, I think the mass device could be 3D printed 100%. I think it could. And if you have friends, you could probably get that done for you for a price. We don't need a HasLab of it. And I don't think they're going to make a HasLab of it, even
I
though that
don't
was a
either.
popular rumor. Triple C, or Todd C in the house, my bad, not Triple C. Although I haven't seen Triple C. Did see where he had posted about what did he do? Took an Iron Grenadier. Some of y'all in the chat will probably put it in there for me, but he had taken an Iron Grenadier and made maybe one of the Renegades characters out of it, possibly. I'm not sure, but I saw him post that. I saw him post that earlier.
He did a
And
top
then
10 wants video, I think, today.
hey,
Watched it.
okay. Well, this is a comment I can get down with. Turk, I'm with you 100%. Give me a damn wetsuit. I loved wetsuit as a kid. I love the colors. Love that character. I would love a wetsuit, man. I'd be
Well,
all over that.
here's a question for you and for Turk. So we haven't gotten wetsuit yet. We hadn't gotten mainframe yet. Would you guys
Right?
be good with getting a Special Missions Brazil set with those guys in it before we
I'd be
get
fine.
regular versions?
I'd be okay with that. I love the original wetsuit, but if you gave me, I'm going to tell you right now, if you
Wetsuit's
gave
the best
me,
figure in Special Missions
I
Brazil.
agree. I agree. If you gave me the Brazil special missions team and you priced it at, you know, let's say they give you a discount and they give you $100 just for the hell of it. I'm all over that. That is there's no second thoughts about that whatsoever. I'm all in on that.
I'd be
And I think a
fine
lot of
with
people
doing
here would
that.
be too. I think a lot of people here would be too for that. I mean, just kind of looking through and seeing kind of what everybody might be into. Bobby Waldo has an interesting comment. It says use Marvel Legends Scourge, however you want to pronounce it, to make a classified claw. That's I think what Triple C was doing, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it was.
Iron Claw, yeah.
Iron Claw. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it
Um,
was.
yeah. And then Aaron says, "Yep, I do love the color of Special Mission Brazil. I do too. That's one of the things that attracted me to that team." Right, but also having those versions, those special versions. It wasn't just V2 or whatever you want to call it. In my opinion, it was a special, you know,
Oh yeah.
different thing, and I love that. I just absolutely love that. And then Viper Scout says, so okay with Special Missions Brazil, but not Python Patrol and Tiger Force, because I think Python Patrol and Tiger Force are they're how do I say this? How am I going to
Played
put
out.
this? Yes, okay.
We're so used to them.
Used
It
to
was
them.
something a little new.
The special missions is one of those things as a kid, man. Like if you didn't get on that when it happened, you
Yeah.
didn't have it.
And they were not like plentiful.
That's what I mean. So like special missions, that was like special. Python Patrol, Tiger Force, the vehicles that came out, those were easily accessible, Viper Scout. And that's what I'm saying. That Brazil team, that was a special thing. And if you weren't there in the right place at the right time, you missed out.
There were a lot of people that like never even saw that Special
100%.
Missions
I
Brazil.
agree.
So
I agree.
there were a lot of folks that didn't have it. Now I just think
Yeah.
like to go with what Viper Scout said. I'd be good with I guess I'd be good with seeing them in those lines first. I would be I would not be as happy as I would be if they did them in Special Missions Brazil first, just because of that, just because it's something a little bit different that I think a lot of people would really get on board with because they missed it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And smash that like button, y'all, for real, man. We've had about 20 to 24 people. And looking at YouTube, we got about 12 likes, man. I say smash the like button. It's so stupid and so cliche to say it, but
Smash
it
that
does
like
it
button.
does help. And this is on Three Star
Smash.
Draws channel, and he makes far more content than I do. So please boost his channel up and his reviews, and he'll have a dial tone review coming out real soon for you guys, and obviously all the other ones that he does because he collects all the other lines as well. But boost up his channel, man. I seem to have fallen in the trap of just doing live streams only. Which is not exactly what I'd like to do, but they do take up time. But yeah, y'all throw a like on this channel, man. Give up 3 Star Draw and boost him up, help him out.
We're on the
Especially when
road to
making content.
500.
Yeah, 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 that's right. The Indy 500.
Yeah,
Viper Scout, it's funny because he says, "Oh no, you're a gatekeeper. I see. Just messing." No, I know, man. I know you are. I love you, buddy. It's all good, man. Just messing around.
so got a couple other Hasbro things while we're on the subject.
Let's do it.
Uh, so we talked about
Oh
that
shit.
and that. So let's talk about the Transformers Has Lab. It got funded. So uh, congratulations to everybody that wants that. Like I had to ask what this even was. I don't even know what this is. I had it Ken from Toy Connections explain to me exactly what this dude is, this transformer, because I have no idea. I don't keep up with all of
Oh, oh no.
the the whatevers, the Japanese ones and the different itinerations. This thing, I know it was hard to get. He explained that the original itineration of this was really hard to get, and a lot of people really have sought after it. So they're doing this so people can have it now. This looks awful to me. Like, but it's not my Transformers. It's
I'd
somebody's
like to
Transformers.
know. I'd like to know if anybody here got
Yeah.
this.
Anybody back it?
Did anybody back this? I'm already seeing some comments that are like, or
It's the Lyle
oh,
Kaiser Combiner.
oh wow, Dreadnought. That's good shit. That's pretty good.
It's a
Yeah,
transforming robot.
it's I just
So
don't. When I saw this thing, and you and I probably felt the same about it. To me personally, there's nothing interesting about this toy. Like there's nothing about it that stands out to me other than it's multicolored and it's a HasLab, and that's about the best two things I can say about it. There's just nothing about this that and it got funded because it's a transformer.
yeah, I mean that's something that's the audience is always going to be there for Transformers. It's
Yes.
reinvented itself, a million times over. I'm glad I'm not really interested in anything Transformers that isn't G1 and the beginning of G2. Anything past the movie. I missed Beast Wars. I was just a little old, I feel like, for Beast Wars. I never got into it. I'm sure some people were still watching it. That's
Yeah,
fine,
yeah,
but
sure.
uh, Beast Wars wasn't my jam.
I hear you.
So in any of this stuff, and I do like the Nemesis Prime and the like the shattered glass, all that stuff
Right.
looks cool, but I mean, I don't know the lore behind it. I think it looks cool. This to me does not look cool. This looks like a knockoff from Dollar General to me. Is
Yeah, that's
this
what I
looks like
mean.
and Dreadnought says it's a transforming robot. That looks like that's what could be on the package for this. This transforming robot.
As I'm highlighting the comments and just kind of showing what everybody thinks about this thing, it's just one after the other of everybody going like, yeah, boring. No, makes me want to throw up. No, I haven't,
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell this is. Don't know this character. Haven't heard of this character. Even Viper Scout says this is 150 to 200, not a $300 toy. And
Yeah.
you and I made this comment the other night, and maybe to each other or on a stream. In some ways, when I look at it, it looks like one of those toys you buy at Dollar General
Yeah.
for a birthday party for somebody that your son doesn't really know,
Yeah.
right? That you got,
Yeah.
oh crap, I got to go to a party, and am I going to buy this $20 transformer, or am I going to buy this $8 off brand? Right? That's what that looks like to me.
And same here, like, but this is a nostalgia for people that were into this, and like I said, evidently it was very hard to get here and
Right.
very sought after. So they're making a version of it for the people that want it. I'm glad they made it. I'm glad they're getting it. There's 11,887 people that wanted it. I just don't see $300. Like, Viper Scout said. I just can't see this thing being $300
So
worth.
here's the deal, and Todd C chimes in and says, "Hey, I collect Transformers. I'd say 250 was fair, you know." So
Okay.
this is somebody that does collect Transformers that is saying, "Hey, you know what? I think this is probably about online with what we'd see." You know, and of course he also mentions that he could see. Oh yeah, well, fuck it. Wait a minute. Oh, that's well. Listen, you know,
They're scraping the barrel, man. They've
that's
already
pretty
went through
funny.
them all day.
But to follow up on that with Todd saying, "Look, but I can see the HasLab surcharge." I do understand that, right? I understand the HasLab surcharge. You're going to throw that out there. You're going to make it a HasLab. Obviously, you're going to be able to charge a little more money for that. Menjoza also says, "Looks like a grocery store." Toy ripoff Transformers, and I guess that's my thing, right? Like, and Todd C collects Transformers, and I don't know how many of us here in the chat and obviously on the stream. I know you don't, and I don't, but
Mm,
I don't know how many of us do. But there is someone that's saying, "Hey, you know what? I do collect them. I do like it." Todd C's backing it. You know, he's all in. And sometimes that's the blessing and the curse of the things that we love, right? Like the things we like, is
yeah.
that, you know, and we say that usually a lot of times. Hey, doesn't do anything for me. If it does do something for you, hey, more power to you, right? You know, if that's what you like, and if you are into these tiers, and this is what does it for you, then by all means. I mean, I would never tell someone, you know, how dare you buy that? You know,
Yeah, I mean,
how could you
it's your
buy that?
thing, and if it's your thing, and you think it's a fair price, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm glad they're making it.
sure.
You know, it's hard to get, so I'm glad people are going to be able to get a version of it. But I don't know anything about this lore. It's the Japanese from the later versions of the Japanese cartoon that kept
Right.
going. Great. I just don't see it. It ain't for me, but it's for somebody. So uh,
Yeah, and like Aaron says here too, you know, the Constructicons, you know, those Constructicons are awesome. And I always like the Constructicons, but at the same time, I like that G1, you know, like the purple and the black and the, you know, that
Oh, that's
look and
they're doing them, but they're doing them individually. I would like
right.
to get those Constructicons, and they've sold out. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, with
Yeah.
the quickness,
Yep.
if they did, if I tell you, if this was Devastator, I
Right.
might have backed it.
Right.
I might have got it if it was. But they've done a bunch of versions of Devastator. I mean, you can find there's probably there's probably 50 versions of Devastator out there,
Yeah.
but that's something that would have interested me. I would have been in for a like a big ass Devastator. That's something I might have got. He was always one of my favorite, and Constructicons were
I
my
mean,
jam. My dad had most of those vehicles in real life,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
right, yeah, in real life, and so like you know, it's all kind of all in what you relate to. It's all kind of where you come into the line. It's also sometimes where you fall into the lore, and if you really appreciate the Japanese part of it, or you really appreciate maybe some of the later part of it, or the early part of it, right? And where you fall in, or whether you're just all in, right? You're just all in. I got to have it all, and I know Transformers collectors like that. I know GI Joe collectors like that. You know, whether it's
yeah.
O ring or whether it's you know 112 or whatever it is, they're all in, and they've got to have it no matter what. And you're not going to stop them. You're not going to change their mind. You're not going to talk any sense into them or otherwise. You know, not that I'm saying I'm trying to talk sense into anybody. If you want to read this comment here by Todd C.
Yeah, he said there's no other Lyo Kaiser like that out there. Even the third
Mm-hmm.
party is smaller, and in a scale, it's
Right.
$40 a figure without shipping and tax. So 300 is a deal most collectors will take. So that's good, man. I'm glad. I'm like I said, I'm glad people are getting it. It's just something that's definitely not for me, but that's cool.
I
So
think that one would have to understand just as a GI Joe collector, right? As class, you know, the classified line is the only thing I really do collect. I would also have to understand if there were people who maybe saw something that had come out especially in the HasLab form, for instance, something that's expensive, something that requires backing, and there was a push to come out and say, yeah, no, not so much. It's like, you have to be able to kind of say, hey, you know what? I don't really care. This is what it means to me. And so as far as that, yeah, I appreciate that. And I would probably be the same way myself if there was a HasLab for G.I. Joe that came out and people were like, man, like that thing looks dumb. But to
Yeah.
me, I'm probably like, shit, what are you talking about, man? This thing is awesome, dude. It's
Yeah.
got everything I loved as a kid, or it's got the lore,
Yeah.
it's
That's
got the,
it. I mean,
right? So I get it. I totally get it,
whatever
man.
the preference is. And
Yep.
Matthew Matson's joined us, said, Devastator, big Devastators retail. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. They're dropping
Yeah.
2-figure sets till they
Yep.
finish it. Yeah, and I'd like to order those. I'd like to get all of those. They're selling out like a mofo. So I would definitely be down for them. It's just one of those things that, like, is it this or is it this? I like this just a little bit more. So
Right. Right.
I hadn't ordered them. I might try and pick them up later. Maybe there'll be some more of them, but I would love to get those bigger. What are they? The Legacy
Yeah. The
collection, is that
legacy.
what the Devastator is? So
I think
I'd
so.
I'd like to get those.
Yeah. I think so.
Well, I have it pulled up. They just dropped the next two, so
Son of a bitch. Oh, do they have the
find it
new
here.
Captain America Brave New World figures out yet? Crap.
Possibly. I don't know. They'll be at Ollie's in about a month. So
They'll be on
if they
streaming in about a
did.
month.
So there's the 2-pack of long haul. Yeah. Long haul and who's this? Long haul and
Man, you got me.
Hook.
Look,
Okay. Hook. All right,
my
it's right there.
Transformers lore is not as up to date as my GI Joe lore, and even
Well,
then I get tripped up. So
these guys, I'm looking at them and I know know the
that's
Constructicon,
a
but
long duck dong.
long duck fong. But I'm looking at the robots and I'm reading through it and I'm like, I don't know which ones these are. Wait a minute. So it's long haul and hook. And long haul is
Okay,
actually one of the
okay,
ones. He's
yeah,
actually one of the ones that I like. So
gotcha.
he's the dump truck. So, but
So
yeah, these are badass. I would like to. They're
I do
studios.
love, look, man, here's the deal. When I go into Target or Walmart, and I'm so disappointed every damn time I go in there. But you know what? And I'm not going to lie, man. There's one thing you can almost always count on is actually seeing some Transformers figures in there every single time.
There's
Legacy, movie, right?
there's
Like
so
it,
many of them that like I don't know which is which and which ones are new
well,
and
no, I
hot,
mean,
but
look, when I
they're
walk in
there.
and I see a Cup figure, I know who Cup is. When I
Yeah,
walk in and I see a Starscream, when I walk in and I see a Megatron, when I walk into Target and I see the Optimus Prime Target tractor trailer figure, which is pretty fucking cool. If it didn't cost so much, I'd buy it. You seen that one?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
cool
yeah,
as
yeah,
shit
yeah,
because we talked about it, right? We talked
yeah.
about it. You talked to me about it. So it's like, but that's the one thing. Like when you walk in, you see the Transformers figures, and they're the figures you relate to, whether you was as a kid or whether they're new. I mean, a Beast Wars, whatever. But by God, you walk in and try to find a damn GI Joe figure, and the only
Yeah,
shit you see is a Duke reaction and a fucking Lady J
reaction.
reaction and then an O-ring Serpentor, and maybe one other thing. It's like it's so disappointing, man. But Transformers, they're always on the damn shelf every
Always
damn
they
time.
always there.
Every damn time.
Transformers and wrestling figures. That's right,
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh my
Madness.
God, Jesus.
Hey, the
Whew.
16 Hulk Hogan's for 17.49 on
Man, they got
sale.
like two Pat McAfee's and a fucking Sting from 1994 or some shit. I don't know what
I
the
do
hell.
like some of them wrestling figures, and every time there's one out and I try to go catch a Target sale, the one I want's gone. So,
Hey, I'm gonna
and
tell you something real quick before we get into this. Quickly, Target, Star Wars, couple interesting things there. I have to admit, I sent you a couple pictures of them. Biker Scout, press the button. Biker Scout explodes
Yep.
with the Biker Scout Stormtrooper. I appreciate the love for the old school toy. I'm all about it. It was there. I was like, okay, I'm cool with this, right? I like it. A New Hope Darth Vader, Black Series. Don't care about the Black Series, but whatever. They have better Star Wars figures at Target than anything they had G.I. Joe.
Yep. Then they actually have Star Wars
Yeah,
figures, like you said.
anything G.I. Joe.
So
It's a
I
damn
like
shame.
like what Johnny Reno says right here. The only thing I saw every time I go to Target's that damn AT&T
Oh
person trying
my
to get me to
God.
switch
So
or
I went out of
buy
my
me
way this
cell
last time.
service.
I went out of my way 3 days ago. I think it was in there. Yeah, 3 days ago. I went out of my way and avoided that guy. And I tried to make it look natural. I tried to be like, as
Oh,
I
that's
walked out of the aisle and I saw him looking at me, and he's holding his tablet, right? And I looked at him, and then I literally did an about face and was like, oh shit, that Xbox game I was gonna look at. I think I even said that shit out loud. And then I walked down that aisle and I snuck around the back by all the phone cases, because God knows they got 2 aisles of nothing but motherfucking phone cases, right? And I'm like, did they have any lights? Maybe I need some new lights. I can look at a couple new, and no lights, right? No lights. All the monitors are gone, the laptops are gone. But and I'm like, well, here's the clearance section, and I snuck my way out through sporting goods.
I'll be trying to sneak around them motherfuckers like I'm Agent 47.
That's what I did. That's
Like
exactly what I did.
find see where the cart with the empty boxes where their stocking is and sneak around like Solid Snake under one of the
Dude, I
cardboard boxes.
swear to
I can't
God.
stand them fucking dudes, man.
That's what I did. I literally made my way, and it was like boom, 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 and I'm like, ooh, pickleball paddles. Let me look at all this wall full of pickleball paddles as I sneak my way out past this motherfucker.
So when they corner me, Viper Scouts is tell him you have AT&T and start complaining about your service. Then they're gonna want your number so they can look your account up and see if they can fix it.
No.
So
I don't give them nothing. I don't even want to talk to them.
When they start on me, I just keep walking and I just say, sorry, man, I will never have AT&T service again. Oh, why is that? And my other thing I like to say to them is like, no, man, you're wasting your time. They probably still got my picture up at the office.
Dude, man. Look, I'm not kidding though, man. I played that shit. I even came out the wrong aisle one time, and I looked over and I was like, I'm a little too close. I need to dissolve myself. I need to drop back one aisle and then work my way over and come back up. And I did. I came up through the workout equipment and shit, all the bands and the 10-pound arm weights and whatever. And I was like, I'm far enough away now. I think I can make a clean break.
Yep. And Viper Scout, both targets I go to have Serpentor.
Yeah,
Reaction
that sounds
Plus
about right.
No others. Serpentor and CoverGirl, and one of them also has Duke.
Hadn't seen CoverGirl yet. But
I'm kind of regretting not buying Ramar when I found him. You hadn't seen my dead-eyed beauty here in
No. I have. I'm absolutely in love with her because at the very least, she won't give me any normal, natural reactions when I piss her off. It's just those dead shark eyes. You know what I mean?
She's coming. She's coming for
shark
you,
eyes. Shark-eyed toy view. There you are, baby. Come for me. No, and that's the sad part. Is you're right. It is. It's quite striking, I guess, in a bad way. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look here at what we got here, Pulse, right?
Well, this is the next thing that I wanted to talk about while we're doing the toy news and toy stuff. We cannot talk about Hasbro and stuff Hasbro's dropped and what they're doing without talking about this sumbitch right here.
Man.
Maximum Series Spider-Man for $49.99.
For that price.
Maximum Anger.
For that price, I am shocked that it has sold the way it's sold? Because it's sold out. Am I incorrect?
It is right there. It is sold out. You are
Yep.
correct.
So
It's
okay,
sold out
and
in most everywhere that is offering it.
I did not look at the screen. I'm taking that information from Toy Habits. I'm taking that information off of some of the other people that we all know. I did not look at the screen to see that. I do not understand why this figure at $50 is sold out. I truly do not. I don't know what interests people so much about this another Spider-Man figure. At this point, for me, just for me, and I do not collect other lines, and I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I love Spider-Man. I don't love him as much as I used to, but what I'm trying to say is this figure that demandable? Is it something that's so special and so? I mean, it has two fucking stars. It has 1.5 stars, 1 3/4, 1 1/4 stars, whatever the review is. But yet it's sold out. So you guys tell me in the chat. You tell me 3 star. What am I missing here?
They are attempting to give you a Spider-Man that can compete with the Mafex. This is basically what this is Hasbro doing Mafex, and most people consider the Mafex figures to be superior. You know this. Matthew's in the chat. He's going to tell us.
Yeah, no, I would
Um,
like him to chime in every now and then because he knows a lot more than I do. So that's what
more
I'm
than
looking
I
for.
more
All of
more
y'all's
than I do.
expertise, more than by all means, all of y'all's expertise. I'd like to know.
So I love Spider-Man. I don't have a Spider-Man figure, period. I talked about this last week. And most everybody has pointed me toward the actual Mafex version of this figure, that one. So this is Hasbro trying to step up their game and go after the little more expensive type figure market, people that are buying the imports because they're more posable, little better construction on a lot of them. I think this is Hasbro trying to up their game and take some of that market share back, I believe. But from what I've heard, most people's gripe with this is probably a $35 to $40 figure at
Okay.
best, and it is the articulation that they should have been already doing with Legends. So
Okay.
that seems to be most people's gripe. Now, personally, I think this figure looks great. I would buy this Spider Man because I want a Spider Man in my collection. I have Kingpin, I have Punisher. I'm going to get a Daredevil figure now. I need a Spider Man, and I'm shopping around for the best, most posable Spider Man to put in my display. I like this one, but from what people that are more well educated with Legends and imports have told me, is this figure is just not worth the price. I think it looks fine, but if there's a better figure out there for me for this price, or maybe just a little bit more that gives you more, I would buy that one over this one
Okay.
based on what I've been told about these figures.
Okay. So Matthew's saying that the Sentinel Spider-Man they did a while back is the best in his opinion. I need to see that. And also, just I guess, based off of maybe price or accessories, like a camera accessories, like a webbed up camera, right? That kind of thing, which I'd love to see that if that was the case. If I was into this, I'd want that. Do I appreciate the Spidey sense going off? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, I don't know. Here's kind of my one, I guess, not gripe, problem. I don't collect them. Is that once you start getting, and we just talked about this with GI Joe. How many is too many? Like, how many versions can you do? How many different ones can you do? Of course, we know the comics, they're never ending. We understand that. All right. We're all in agreement there. But, like, yes, they've got to continue to produce, but at the same time, like to me, man, I don't know, dude. For $50,
Well,
I need more than this. I would
like
need way more than this.
I
I'm
dig
sorry.
I dig this pose here. I dig being able to do, I showed it a second ago, the upside down pose. I guess the web is like bendable, flexible. So this does everything that I would want a Spider-Man to do. I've seen people talk that because the webs aren't sculpted in, that's a gripe people have that it should have for this price point. Uh,
Okay.
I think it would look better with sculpted webs, but I'm no expert in these figures. But I know when we
Right.
were talking about it the other night, and I mentioned that I want the best Peter Parker version of Spider Man that's the most posable. Pretty much everybody said Mafex, and Just Jeff sent me a link to the Mafex version of this, and it was $57.
Okay.
So $7 more a figure from a different manufacturer that is, I guess, more widely regarded, more highly regarded. Most everybody seems to think that these are $15 to $20 overpriced. And somebody, I think it was Viper Scout, said way back up here, FOMO
Johnny Reno.
on
Yeah.
these.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
I'm not
so
a Legends collector. I've got a few that I've picked and chosen.
War
So
Chest is saying, can you put a side by side of the Marvel Legends Legend series Ghost Rider with motorcycle that came out last year next to that Spidey? And I'm curious because I'd like to see that. So I actually did.
oh,
Uh,
did you find it already?
I did. Just here's one on Amazon. I
That
brought it
that
up.
Ghost Rider is
Now,
badass.
correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to bring this up and see if this is the one that I need to be looking at. Maybe I'm incorrect. I don't know, but I want to bring this up. War Chest, is this the one that you're talking about right here? Is that the one you're talking about? Marvel Legends Ghost Rider 85th anniversary, or should I be looking at another one because this is the one that came up?
That's it.
And so now this is the same price. Is that what I'm here to understand? That for this price point, this was $50, and so you can have this for $50, right? Right? Or you can have the Spidey for $50. So you guys tell me in the chat, what would you rather have? Would you, for $50, would you rather have a motorcycle, flame accessories, a whip, flame whip, extra hands, and the Ghost Rider character? Or would you rather have the Spidey character and what it comes with as we all come to know it right now, as we've seen it? It's sold out, right?
I almost bought that set with the Ghost Rider. It was
Mm-hmm.
on sale at one of the Target sales a while back. It was, I think it was like $37,
Okay.
36 or something like that. I almost bought it, but I didn't. I think it's a really good looking figure, and that's a lot of plastic for $50. It's also Ghost Rider, and it's not as
Right.
articulated as the
Now,
Spider
now,
Man.
now,
It's apples and oranges.
yeah. Now, funny enough, Mr. Magus says I'd rather have an all striker. I'm guessing all striker.
No, I think he
Uh,
meant
oh,
the fans hobby or
oh, okay,
something.
yeah, 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 okay. I got you. I got you. My bad. Misreading that. Johnny Reno says is that our only choices for this exercise. Yes, it is our only choices, right? And Turk Murphy says that I just used the ones that came in the files from Wood Tech on Etsy. So you made your own. Is that what I'm guessing?
I think they may be having a sidebar. He's been
Okay, yeah,
talking
and you're probably right, but
renegade about.
nonetheless, so yeah, I mean, look, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't collect these, so I can't speak to them in that as far as referencing that and saying, yeah, I absolutely 100%. Johnny Reno, I'm with you, man. I take the $50 cash. nonstop. Just give me that shit. I'd take the $50 cash a lot of times over some of these classified figures. I ain't gonna lie. Like there's not all of them, obviously, but there's a
And they,
couple of them. I'd be like,
yeah,
yeah, just
well,
take the $50.
and the 2 packs that should be
Two
$50
pack or
instead of
two figures for
55.
50. Yeah, man. No, just give me the $50 and I'll do my own thing,
Uh,
right?
so, but Spider-Man, it's there. It's a hot button topic. So
I like
I am
Spider-Man, dude.
I am going to spend some money, a little bit of money, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
get a Spider-Man. I am either probably gonna order the Mafex, or I may order that
Okay.
CT Toys, which is the knockoff Mafex that are
Right.
really good. We talked about them the other night, and the consensus is that that figure is probably as good or better than this
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and it's half the cost. So
Yeah.
I I don't I'm not as upset over the maximum Spider-Man as other people are, but I think it probably is a little bit, probably $10 to
I
too
mean,
much.
come on, man. Let's not kid ourselves. That's the general consensus. That's what I've seen from everybody that's been talking about it. Those are the videos I've seen. And yeah, it makes sense. Look,
At,
as much,
at
yeah.
at 35 or maybe 40, I might have
Sure.
tried to order it because I got in. I mean, when it went live, it was still available on Pulse.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
mean, you could, if whenever it pops back up on order somewhere else that's got it for pre-order, you can order it there, and you'll probably have it first anyway. So
I have a feeling you're going to be able to find that guy in a few months
yeah,
for the
he
price that you want to find him for.
I don't know, and Matthew or maybe
Just
somebody in the
guessing.
chat can tell me because I think I asked the other night and I don't remember getting an answer. I don't know if those are going to hit brick and mortar like Target or whatever. I can see Target
Okay.
maybe carrying that, but I also
Yeah.
think maybe it's a little too pricey for Target. But I don't know if it's supposed to hit brick and mortar or not.
Right.
So I don't know. But it's out there if you guys want it. If you ordered it, I'm glad you're getting it. But I think I'm gonna wait and see if it shows up on sale, or I'm gonna order a different one. I beg to differ. Um, no, it's
That's,
not, maybe not all of them, but some of those retro cards most
yeah.
certainly do.
And
Now I don't know
he's
actual Spider-Man like Peter Parker, regular old clean version of Spider-Man, but I know some of the other characters in that retro
so
card line.
Matthew said he sent me just wanted to check real quick cuz he said he sent me something
Okay.
and let's see. But if it's through text, I can't really bring it up here on the stream. It's kind of hard to. Okay, so he sent me the Sentinel Marvel Spider-Man Peter B. Parker special version Sentinel SV action. Yeah, if it's on a text, I can't really figure out a way. Maybe I can email it to myself. But this is on Amazon, and maybe he's showing this off as to say, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you check this out?" instead of this Marvel Legends version, which I think, look, not all of us probably have all the issues with Marvel Legends that maybe some of us do. I know some of those ones I've seen I'm not crazy about. Although at the same time, I do appreciate the fact that when it comes to Marvel Legends, at the very least, they continue to put out, figures. I'm not saying they're the best and they look the best or the quality and they do the build a figure stuff. But at the same time, like I appreciate the fact that they continue to put product out. Sometimes it just ends up, being a big, flood the thing. So this is the Sentinel Marvel Spider-Man Peter B. Parker special version. Okay. Just looking at some of the things and maybe
Oh, I shared my
accessories.
screen. I just pulled it up too.
Oh, okay, cool. Because yeah, I'm actually flipping through it right now. This is kind of what Matthew sent to me, and I do like this look. It has that cell shaded in a way. If I'm incorrect, please correct me. But I think that's what it is from the animation standpoint. I love the fingers like this. This is cool as shit. I like
I,
this.
li- I like it. I don't want Into the Spider Verse.
Well, and I get you there. I do. I
I want
understand that.
comic.
I do understand that,
It
and
looks great.
I'm with you. But I have to admit, compared to that $50 Legends and this, like, yeah, this is pretty badass. Now my question is, damn, that looks good. I ain't gonna lie, I do like that. Yes, the proportions are weird. They have the really long legs, but that looks good. That looks really
He
good.
looks like a spider.
That looks really damn good. Like my ex girlfriend looked like a spider. She was more like a Black Widow, but not the good
Yeah.
kind, like Scarlett Johansson. I would have stuck with her. Um, I have to admit, I do like this.
It looks good, but it's not what I want, but it doesn't
No,
look bad, but it's not what I'm looking
and I
for in
get
one.
it. And also, this is a 200 and something dollar figure. So let's not kid ourselves. There are major
Yeah,
differences between the quality. So, do you want to take you a minute? Do you need to step out for a second? Take you 5 minutes before we get into our topic, get into our
I do
movie
because
topic.
I
Go ahead and do that.
I
Um,
hear a puppy dog
yeah,
in there
and
prancing around.
and I'm not gonna lie, I've been taking a few more sips off the old bourbon than normal, and I have to I have to go pee.
Hey,
So you do what you need to do. What's up?
there is a there is that figure we just looked at. I
Okay,
just looked at it on eBay. Just looked it up on
okay,
eBay just for the hell of it, and there is one auction that ends tomorrow.
all right,
Starting
Matthew
bids
Matson.
starting bids $30 and
Bullshit.
no bids yet.
It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get run up at the last minute. It
15
might be
minutes
the
before it ends, it's gonna blow the hell up.
I think it's the I don't think it's the one with the gargoyle head, but
Okay.
uh, yeah. So I guess you can maybe find it cheaper than that.
Well, look,
But
you
if
take
you need to roll first, you can take your
no.
break first if you
It's
need to.
it's up to you. Go right ahead, man. I look. Came in late, came in hot, came in late. So if you need to, by all means, it's up to you. But or
All
you
right.
tell me whatever you want to do.
Well, then I will be right back, and
There
we
you
will
go.
talk about some want list for Joe movie media stuff. I'll be
Yep.
back.
I'm going to talk about it right now, folks. So here's the deal. We came up, we have an idea bank. And a lot of you that live stream and try to come up with streams every week, every other week, you may have an idea bank. You may toss some in there. You might pull some out. You might use one here and there. You might say that's not good enough. So we have an idea bank that we try to keep a Word spreadsheet or word sheet, going, Microsoft Word sheet, and just add to it, pull some from. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard coming up with a very niche concept like GI Joe and trying to come up with a niche topic, for instance, because that can be difficult, and it's a lot more difficult, in my opinion, personally, than what I do with Matthew every week because we always have news, we always have topics to talk about, we always have pop culture topics to talk about, right? Movies, TV, comics, whatever. With GI Joe, it's a little different. So you really have to get creative, and sometimes those creative juices aren't flowing all the time, and it can be interesting. But it seemed like it'd be a fun topic. We've seen the GI Joe movies, right? Um, we've seen the cartoon specials. We saw Renegades. We've seen whatever, and we've had this one on the back burner for a little bit. Sometimes it comes down to prep time, and do you have prep time? Right? Can you maybe think of something, look at actors, do go into work, we all work and have shit we have to do. But this seemed like a fun topic, and I would love to have y'all's participation in the chat in particular, because I think that's extremely crucial to something like this. It's when it comes to casting, when it comes to plot, when it comes to stuff like that. And I think y'all probably would have a whole lot of ideas of what you'd like to see or who you'd like to see, right? And I think that sometimes it's a little tough when you think, oh, well, that's not too tough, right? It's not too bad. And then you start to get into figuring out, well, who would you like to play Destro? Or who would you like to play Stalker or this character? And then you run into a roadblock, no pun intended, because it's like, man, I don't really know. And that's kind of how this went for me as I looked up today, trying to figure out who would I cast as whomever and what would I want to see them as. But it was a pretty fun exercise. And I think we'd all agree if we're going to have a G.I. Joe movie, we'd all like to actually have a good, true to the material G.I. Joe movie, right? And characters that we recognize who look like they are. And Josie, yes, as of today, if that's if you're talking to me. And yes, I'd love to have Mr. T play Mr. T. But so we might have approached this from two different ways. I don't know what he approached it as. I approached it in a different way or in my own way. And I'll explain that to you guys here in just a few minutes after I run to the bathroom. But we may have come at this from two different ideas, but I'd love to hear y'all's idea about who you'd like to see, maybe the plot. Obviously, it's kind of easy to come up with a plot. Cobra wants to dominate the world. But could you maybe do something different with that? Is there an actor you'd like to see now? You know, is there an actor you'd like to see portray somebody now? Maybe in the lead role, maybe in the sidekick role or a supporting character role. And so, yeah, man, like, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. Here's the deal. Just a quick, easy way to maybe have fun doing something like this. Go to Microsoft Word, pull that document up.
Word.
And use some of the tools that are there to help you craft what it is you're looking to do. And that can be a really fun exercise to do, and maybe even help you come up with something if you're interested in writing a comic or writing a short story or whatever you might be interested in doing. You know, those tools are there to kind of help you. And so I kind of had fun playing around with some of those today. So oh, hang on, man. That's a big stick, buddy. I'm not ready for a stick that size. Yikes.
You just work up to it.
Yeah, it's just like my ex. You just got to warm up to it, right?
Yeah, be
But
fine.
anyway, so yeah, so I was kind of laying out the ground rules of what we were talking about and just trying to have a little fun with whatever and that. So I am going to take a pause for the cause.
All right.
And I'll be right back, and we'll get started on this topic to finish the night out. Okay.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Sounds good.
All right, I'll be right back.
I also completely skipped over part of what we were going to talk about because I had the pictures for Blowtorch and Crystal Ball's head sculpt pulled up, but we've probably already seen those. Those test shots for Blowtorch looks like a trauma patient or something with his oxygen mask on, but I'm looking forward to that figure. That's one I was hoping we were going to see yesterday, Blowtorch or the firefighter. But what do you have highlighted? Whatever you do have Mr. T play Mr. T. I completely missed that part of the conversation, whatever the hell he was talking about. So, yes, yeah, Moon Knight. This is the Strange Tales Moon Knight. This is a fantastic freaking figure talking about the Marvel Legends, and I'm picking and choosing. I've still got this guy sitting up here on my desk here from when I opened him up a couple weeks ago. I've still had him up here just playing with him on live streams and beating the shit out of Saw Vipers and hunting Xandar and all kind of crazy stuff. So no, I think he had the Grumble Four Roses is I think he had to go empty out some Four Roses. Read back through the chat, see what you guys were talking about when I got up. Mr. Mad, guess I'll take the first five. So we did come up with a idea. It's kind of a, I don't say it's a last minute topic. It's one that we've been talking about doing for a while, is what we'd like to see in a G.I. Joe movie or series. I'm sure he was telling you guys about it. We took different approaches to it because I did not have nearly as much time. That's one of the things I was going to work on today. Had I have gotten the day off from work, but I did not get the day off from work. So let's see. Let me find my. I made a. Guess I didn't. Let's say I made a banner for this, but I guess I didn't make a banner for it. That's okay. We know what we're going to talk about. Yep, paying the water bill. He went to go pay the water bill. Bobby. Yeah, the Rise of Cobra Commander. I did kind of get that vibe from that blowtorch. That's a good call. I was thinking like a mask that they put on in the ambulance, if they got to give you oxygen or something. But it does look a little Rise of Cobra Commander-ish, doesn't it? So that was what kind of one of the things that we had talked about, was how if we got a Joe whatever, like how we would really want it done, like not what they would give us, they Hollywood, like how we would want it if we could do it and make it perfect. So that was kind of how we were going to go. And I think he was talking about, he kind of wrote a little bit of a script out for his. I didn't get that far. I'm still in the idea spitballing phase of mine. Perfect example. Moon Knight Walgreens was excellent. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's the same figure, Mr. Magus. You're a Legends collector. I don't know if this Moon Knight, I don't know if it's a repaint of that figure. I know there's been Moon Knights already, and there one in Marvel Knights. Wasn't there a Moon Knight that just come out in the Marvel Knights line too? That Walgreens line, I want that Jigsaw. I need that Jigsaw figure, and I haven't been able to find it in any toy shops or anything. I've been trying to hunt it down in the wild, so to speak, without having to go to eBay or something for it. But I need that Walgreens Jigsaw. I didn't even realize that figure was a thing until it was long gone from the Walgreens. That's a weird thing, isn't it? Like Walgreens to have an exclusive with Marvel Legends or anything really. When somebody told me that Jigsaw, I was like, it's where? Walgreens? Walgreens had Legends exclusives? Are there a lot of people going in Walgreens and buying Legends? I guess if they got the exclusives, they probably are. Please have Mr. T in it. I don't know, man. Mr. T's he getting up there. I saw a picture of him floating around the other day online, and he still looks pretty good. I think it was said I think he's 73 now. I mean, we're all sitting here with it at our fingertips. I think it said he was 73, but he still looks pretty good. He's not wearing all the gold and stuff anymore, or at least he wasn't in the picture that I saw. But he does a lot of community work. Like he does a lot of help, goes out and helps people. They were helping clean up after a storm or a flood or something or other. And they were like moving bricks or something with a human chain. And the guy turned around, and the guy that was handing him bricks was Mr. T. So I thought that was pretty cool, but he's pretty known for doing stuff like that. And that's another figure that I need to hunt down, is I need to get me a Mr. T figure for that Rev van when it comes in. They had classified at Walgreens. I did not realize that. That had to have been before I was collecting the line. as I collect started in March of 23. Tony's Figs in the house. What's going on, Tony? How you doing tonight, brother? Good to see you. Got that rooster figure finished up. Tony just finished that Delta 17 6-inch custom rooster he was working on. He got that thing done quick. Sorry, text from Pop Blender. He didn't fall down or anything. He just taking him a minute to get back. Matthew says there were 2 Walgreens Moon Knights, all white and black. Recently released them exactly everything for the package. So was that the Marvel Knights one and this one? And Tony's here too. Tony might know because he collects those guys. He's likes Marvel Knights. Because I know there was just a recent one that had a different paint scheme. See, I don't see them. The Legends at Walgreens. I knew it was a thing, obviously, with the Jigsaw figure when I found that out. But I've looked when I've gone in them, and the ones near me don't really seem to have them. Working on a Joe story where I only used 2 G.I. Joe actual characters. So I took down my my reading stories that I did, my Christmas stories that I did. I took those down because it's not Christmas anymore and I need to finish writing the rest of it. So I am going to finish doing those. I've just got to write more on it and don't make sense to have it all up right now. I'll put it all back up toward the end of the year when there's more. So there he is. He made it back.
There he is. Man, it's always an interesting. It's always something. You should check your messages.
I did. I checked them. I checked them.
And when I got up, though, I guess my foot was tangled in the cable for my ring light. And so, like, it fell over when I cut my camera off and the cover popped off of it. So all it showed, but it had all the lights inside. So I had to pick that up, pop the cover back on, and then go from there. But anyway, it is what it is. Holy shit. It's always something.
Moon Knight with the all white. Mr. Madgus says he got the Moon Knight with the all white face, not the black face.
You know what?
I got the black face.
Son of a bitch.
And they boycotted this guy.
Yeah, evidently. Good to see Tony's Figs in here, man. Always, man. Tony, good to see you. Can't wait if you're going to be able to make it to the Club Talkin again. Can't make it. Tickets have been purchased. Hotel will be purchased soon. So Joe Fest 2025. I can't wait for the magic again. This upcoming
it's
June.
Just magic.
I hope any and everybody will be able to make it because we'll be there and not at DFW like some people. Guess they just don't feel like hanging out with the rest of us.
Well, it is in some people's backyard, though.
That's true. Look, I can't argue with that. I don't blame anybody for wanting to go to a con or whatever in their own backyard. But man, we had a lot of fun last year, and if there's anybody that wasn't able to make it last year, I'd love to see you this year. That's for sure. And get to know everybody like I did last year. That was so much fun, man. There's a lot of friends, and
you get to meet the beaver.
Yeah, man. Meet the beaver. He's gonna be coming back. He's gonna be yep. He's gonna be back.
Beaver.
That's right.
Shark Eyes, the good shark. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for
coming in. Tennessee Siskel and Ebert. I don't know about that. We don't quite go over the movies here. Maybe we need to figure out a new way to phrase that. Like a new title, I guess, for the Tennessee something and other. I don't know.
We're about to talk about some movies.
I guess we kind of are, and that's what he's referring to. I hope you guys like the thumbnail. That was fun making that, and a lot of different directions that you could go with that. But it was kind of fun looking up the different pictures and the photographs or AI images, whatever it is, of like movie theater, with people in it and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of fun, man. That's one of the more fun ones, and it was an easy one, but it's one of the more fun ones that I've had kind of looking through in a while. To make that, man, it was pretty neat.
Yeah, come out great. I like the way it come out.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
it was fun. It was fun looking that up and just doing
Tony
it.
says the Gridiron Hound is shipping. That
Uh
was
oh,
quick.
man.
That was quick. I think I saw somebody might have got that
Wow.
today. They got a giant. It was a giant box they posted from Gridiron. I don't know what was in it. I didn't see any further pictures, but they said um yeah, it showed it and was like, "Got a big box from Gridiron," and it was like a foot tall. So that's probably what was in it. So they didn't say it was a tease, and I don't know who it was. I just saw it on the Joe page. So no,
I mean, that's
I
uh,
mean,
that's fast though, dude. Like
that's
that's
the
really
if it's
fast.
shipping, that's really fast for Gridiron. If it's already shipping, I didn't realize it was going to be ready to go that soon.
Yeah, I mean, let's see.
Johnny Reno says he's the first Gridiron Hound owner. I guess you're referring to yourself that you're the first owner. Somebody's
Damn.
got to be. But he probably just went over there and picked it up. Oh. All
Let me
right, so
see.
let's talk about some GI Joe movie media. So how did you approach this? What did you
So I just to get it kind of somewhat started out, I approached this as kind of like I wanted to do kind of a plot summary and then the different main characters and then the supporting characters and then I try to do kind of the plot highlights, but I'm not a writer. Although I have had fun in the past doing some of our Halloween stories and voices and all that kind of stuff. I enjoy that. And I'm just a goofball anyway. And so I approached it as looking at newer actors that are current, of age, so to speak, because when you start to go through and look, it's easy to do maybe who would I love to play this character, that player, that character, and I could say, well, I'm a young Robert De Niro, or a young Marlon Brando as this person. But what I did is I tried to look up maybe current actors. A lot of them you'll be familiar with, and they're also somewhat a lot in a different series, I guess you could say. But in a way, a lot of them kind of fit into what I would like to see and like to do out of a new G.I. Joe movie. I think for most of us, having watched the original G.I. Joe and the, retaliation, and if any of us were unfortunate enough to see Snake Eyes, right?
I didn't even
Uh,
pull a screenshot of Snake
Yeah, no,
Eyes
no, no, not so
poster.
much. Then I think a lot of us would understand how disappointed that we've been with how they've treated maybe our favorite franchise, right? Or one of our favorite franchises. Now, we know coming up soon there's going to be a Motu movie that a lot of people are excited about. I'm not sure I'm really excited about the direction they're going, considering some of the shots and pictures, on set pictures I've seen, because I think it's going to end up being a disappointment for a lot of people unless they get real creative, or it's just going to be a rehash of something we saw years ago that was not a very good movie. And let's not
Yeah,
kid ourselves, right?
I just
So,
don't want it set on Earth. It
well,
be
well,
planet.
I've got bad news for you then. I got real
Well,
bad news for you.
I've heard, but I'm hoping it's just some
Maybe
scenes from it.
right, right. So I get that. But ultimately, out of a GI Joe movie, I want it to be a period piece. I want it to pull from the comics. I also don't think it needs to be something that everybody has to be extremely familiar with. I think character growth, character development is extremely important, and I think you can do those things for a fan base without having to just turn over and give them exactly what they want or what they think they want. I think you can do it tastefully while also giving them the characters they want and not a crazy new twist, but giving them the characters that they want, that they enjoy, in either a new, exciting way, or maybe using source material and showing us that stuff in a way we've never been able to see it before. And I think that's extremely important. Maybe sometimes as we look through the Marvel movies and they make decisions based off of the costumes and armor, that yes, some of that stuff looks outdated. It looks of a time. And in the most recent Captain America Brave New World movie, there's a character in there that they tried to give it a different look. It didn't really work. But had they done with the original, had they gone with the original, it would have looked so ridiculous and so out of place that it people would have been really laughing at it for an entirely different reason, I think. And so sometimes we have to take that into consideration. So my approach was more of a period piece with current actors, maybe some of them a little older, younger, but they're current actors that maybe fit the part. And it might be a plot that you may have heard before, but I think is a plot that could be done very well if it's a well written script and stays true to the characters we know and love. So that's kind of how I approached it. What about you?
I I did not flesh mine out nearly as well as you did. I didn't have time to write a synopsis or anything. So I wanted to take a different approach with what I wanted, what I would like to see. And I got to stop this screen because I need to advance my slides just a little bit here. And I want to see a series.
Okay.
I'd like to
I
see
like that.
I'd like to see a series, and I would like to be see it serious and done in the style of this. Give
Okay.
me
Okay.
something serious like this
Grounded.
and
Grounded and
this.
realistic. Okay.
Um, I want it to be I want it to be gritty. Um, I want it to be somewhat realistic. So those two, this is what I want with actual GI
Okay.
Joe. Something along the lines of this. This is about as futuristic approach to stuff as I really want to go, like cutting edge type stuff, not spacey new age. So that's the trick with GI Joe. I think um, I really dig like these two. These are the best two series that they've done for Marvel, hands down. And this series was so good. I think that's the trick with doing a GI Joe series is you can keep it modern, cutting edge, or you can do like you're talking about and do a period piece from the late 70s through the 80s with actual weapons technology. Maybe do a little bit of sci-fi blended in with a weapons or something, but we don't need we don't need lasers, even though they were part
Okay.
of the cartoon.
I'm
We
fine with
don't
that.
need we don't need nanomites.
I'm
Although
fine with
that
that too.
I did dig the nanomites in the Devil's Due comic, but and that's was kind of the inspiration for the movie. But I don't want them in a version like this, like SEAL Team or something grounded and realistic like Punisher. I don't need that in GI Joe. You can do it modern with just a slight bit of cutting edge, and that's why I brought up the Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible. This was the first movie. Some of the stuff they used in that movie was spy gear. It was the newest um, level, the next prototype or whatever of computers that were actually coming out. And then
Okay.
you have stuff like the masks and all of that stuff. You can throw in a little bit of some kind of technology to give me Zartan. That's about as sci-fi as I want, but I would like to see it done similar to SEAL Team and do that for GI Joe And for Cobra, you could do it
Okay.
and make it modern if you wanted to, or do the same thing and make it a period piece. Now, I have a list of characters that I would like to see over a season or two seasons. And with the series, you don't have to cram it all in there like they
You
did
take your time. Take
with
your
this
time with it.
movie, right here. You don't have to cram it all
Yes.
in like they tried to do with Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Right.
If you have a series of 14, 15 episodes over a year or two, you have plenty of time to weave in character development and subplots and develop those backstories. You can, if you did it modern, you can go back and, like they did with Punisher, they had to update his backstory a little bit. It worked. You can do that with Stalker, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow. Put those guys, much like they did with Punisher, with his team in Afghanistan, work in something like that.
I
You don't
like
have
it.
to change. You don't have to change the story that much. You would have to work the technology in to fit it in because they didn't have that back then.
They can
But
always do that, right?
yeah,
They're able, right? If you're able to work that out, you could still fit it within your time frame if you do it well.
yeah. And I don't want to see this. This is what I don't want to see. I don't want to
Nope.
see
Nope. Nope. Nope.
aliens and shit like that. I don't want to see ancient snake people. I want that. Or give me the comic story backstory for Cobra Commander, make him a regular disenfranchised guy the way that they did with Kingpin here.
Okay.
Rises up, builds his army, builds his empire, and slowly starts taking control with the Crimson Guard.
Okay.
Do something like that. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm on board with all of that. Um, Regardless of how different or how these either one of these things, go between you and myself, I think we both are probably in agreement that we would like a more grounded, less fantastical. And I know we've watched enough toy streams, right? Enough to know that it always gets brought up, right? People talk about the guns. They talk
Yeah.
about, the gear. So, well, how did you not know that's not an MP5 with a semi-automatic, blah, 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 blah. Look, I don't know all that shit. I really don't give a shit about all that shit. Like, I really don't. I understand why people do. I personally don't. I also understand why people would love the more fantastical things because it is fantastical. The GI Joe cartoon in particular, there's a lot of fantastical stuff. However, if you read the comics, they're more grounded. They
Mm-hmm.
have more time to tell storylines. And also, let's not kid ourselves. The cartoons were bound by certain restrictions for children to be aired and
Yeah.
advertisements
Or
and things
toy
of that nature.
commercials.
Yes, so we have to understand, like, and we all understand that they're bound by certain restrictions. But if we were going to do our own movie, our own take on it, and maybe cast some people, or hey, who would you like to see in this role? Then I think that's where things start to get real. Those movies that came out a few years ago, I'm not going to lie to you and say that there's not parts of them I did not enjoy. I liked certain parts of those films. Um,
They had
did
their
I want
moments.
did I want something different? Of course I did. Did I think some of the casting choices were done out of popularity or out of, hey, how many eyeballs can we get on this? Yes, of course I do. But I
I
think
think
that
that's where the movie suffered
I
more
agree.
than the writing and the futury shit was
I
they
agree.
shoehorned in box office draw names instead of
Yes.
people that could act the roles right.
Yes, absolutely. And and I think that if you were to do it as a series, yes, I agree. You're able to take more time. You're able to have character arcs, multiple character arcs, without muddying the waters with so many characters that someone gets lost, right? A lot of times in a movie in particular, we see it all the time. It happens where there's a character that's introduced, and you think that character is going to be interesting, as in the most recent Captain America movie. There is a character that's introduced, and she seems like she's going to be rather important, and there's a great backstory, and you're going to find out more about her, and you actually find nothing out about her. You don't really understand her power levels, although she's able to beat the shit out of people, but you don't really fully understand anything about her, and so it leaves a lot to be desired. And that's because it has to be fit within a 2-hour movie. But within a series, like you said, you can have multiple episode arcs that somewhat resolve themselves. Then you can come back to that later. You can have a 5-minute scene. And in 5 minutes, folks, you can really give people a lot of information in a TV series. In a movie, 5 minutes is a lot of very expensive screen time.
Yeah.
And you can't do what you want to do. And I think with a team, with a world and world building as large as G.I. Joe, unless you either A, make the decision to keep it just to the originals, right? The green shirts and the origins, and then you have to show them all training and the president saying, we need a team. And then you've got to spend 30 minutes putting your team together. Or you can take your time, put your team together, add more people, and really build the world out the way you'd love to build it. So a series, I think you're right. I think is perfect. I would love to see a series myself. I think we are both on the same page there. I did, however, give some actors and some characters that I'd like to see a plot summarization or a synopsis at the very least, or kind of a plot introduction, some supporting characters, and then see where we go from there. So, whenever you want to, I'll throw those ideas out and see what everybody thinks about those.
Yeah, go ahead, because I don't have. I've just got my ideas for the characters
Okay.
I'd like to see starting out. So I don't have any
Okay.
slides pulled up for mine. You want to
Well,
say what's up to Menjoza's in the house? What's going on, man?
yeah.
The gear and each Joe's specialty used to show that they know what tools they'll need, and no one is half the battle. That's
Hell
right.
yeah. So I kind of have a plot summary, and I'll go over that. I don't have any slides necessarily saved, and a lot of people tend to, listen more than they do just, watch. So,
Whatever you got, give me all you got.
but there are some characters that we may have to look up because there might be a couple actors rather that we maybe not that familiar with. I know I wasn't, but as I searched and looked for some, I came across a couple people that I thought would do a great job with some of these roles. So, Legacy of Shadows, Cold War espionage thriller. That is my G.I. Joe beginning. And I would love for it to be a period piece set in the 80s. I think G.I. Joe, importantly, should be of a time, and it should be of the 80s, because it allows for certain things to hold water, where in today's world they may not. Amidst the height of the Cold War, an elite military operative known as G.I. Joe uncovers a hidden manuscript that details a powerful and ancient weapon capable of tipping the balance of global power. As G.I. Joe delves deeper into the mystery, they realize that the ruthless terrorist organization known as Cobra is also after the manuscript. With the fate of the world at stake, G.I. Joe must join forces with a Soviet strike team, a disgraced ninja, an Inuit mercenary, and a former Cobra operative seeking redemption to unravel the secrets of the past and stop Cobra from unleashing chaos from a world long past. So, some of those characters, a Soviet strike team, you can guess who that is. A disgraced ninja, you might be able to figure out who that is. an Inuit mercenary. You guys might know who that is. And a former Cobra operative seeking redemption. You may know who that is. Main characters is Duke, a skilled and fearless military operative determined to protect the world from Cobra's nefarious plans, played by Chris Evans. Scarlett, a charismatic and dangerous martial artist and acrobat who has her own reasons for seeking the manuscript, as fiery as the long red hair on her head, played by Karen Gillan. Flint, a loyal warrant officer with a tragic past who helps G.I. Joe to train their soldiers in the ways of the United States Army Rangers, played by Richard Madden. You may know him from Game of Thrones. Destro, a former high-ranking member of Cobra who now seeks redemption, albeit with motives yet unknown, played by Tom Hardy. Cobra Commander, the ruthless leader of Cobra, determined to harness the power of the manuscript for his own gain, played by Ralph Fiennes.
Oh, that's some good casting.
Supporting characters, General Hawk, G.I. Joe's mentor and renowned expert in Cold War strategy, played by Daniel Craig. Stalker, a loyal friend and sergeant major who has ties to the disgraced ninja Storm Shadow, played by Mahershala Ali. Baroness, a fierce and skilled Cobra operative with raven hair, tasked with tracking down her former lover and partner Destro, played by Gal Gadot. Tomax and Zaymot, twin brothers who run Extensive Enterprises, a multifaceted company that owns most of the world's archaeological and research companies, played by Liam and Chris Hemsworth.
That's pretty good.
Dial Tone, communications expert who creates a device that helps G.I. Joe decipher the ancient manuscript in hopes to understand it before Cobra can decode it, played by Danny Ramirez, who played the new Falcon in the Captain America movie that just came out. And Storm Shadow, disgraced ninja from the Arashikage clan that is sought out for his help by his former Vietnam squad mate Stalker, played by Manny Jacinto. Do you know who Manny Jacinto is?
Rings a bell, but I got to look it up to see. Oh, okay. Now I know who, man. Now I know why it rings a bell. Smilo Ren.
Yep, Smilo Ren. But I think he would be awesome as Storm Shadow.
He would be a good Storm Shadow. It's a good call.
Quinn, mercenary Inuit who is paid for his services to guide the G.I. Joe team in the roughest climate in the North Pole in search of clues for the manuscript, played by Johnny Isaluk. All right, if I'm pronouncing that right. Johnny Isaluk is this guy right here. He's probably the only one many of you maybe don't know. He's 51 years old. But let's see if I can get some of his credits, I guess, is the main thing, right? Let's see. The Inuit part being the most important, but he was in The Terror, Indian Horse. Let's see, where is that? There's one other one around here I knew that I thought I had saw. But The Terror in particular was a great TV series on Netflix. And... but yeah, so let's see.
You know who else would be a good good Quinn? I gotta Google it because I've got to see what the guy's name is. Jonathan Joss. Bad Face in Tulsa King.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. I didn't even think of him. Now Johnny Reno says I don't even know who most of those people are.
I'm having to Google several of them.
So you know who Liam and Chris Hemsworth are, right? You have Thor and his almost twin brother. They're brothers. They look very similar to each other. So you know who the Hemsworth brothers are. Let's see. Let me go back to my script here. You know who Gal Gadot is? She played Wonder Woman. You know who Danny Ramirez is. He just played, if you hadn't seen it, he plays the new Falcon in the Captain America 4 movie, and he actually does a great job. He's probably the best character in the entire movie, to be honest with you. You know who Daniel Craig is? He played James Bond in Casino Royale. Mahershala Ali, he was up for the new Blade movie in particular. Um, and let's see here. I'll give you. I'll show you what he looks like just to give you an idea. But I think as Stalker, he would be absolutely fantastic. And because it's a period piece, he's not too young or too old. He fits the role as someone who went to Vietnam, maybe as a 37-year-old man, you know. And he was in Moonlight, you know, Jurassic World Rebirth, Hidden Figures, The Hunger Games, Mockingjay, Alita Battle Angel. He also did voice work in the Spider-Verse stuff. But yeah, very well-known actor, and Matthew would tell you too. And he's a great actor, actually. You know, Gal Gadot being too tall for Baroness, maybe. You know, maybe so. But if you go through, I mean, there's a few actresses maybe, but like Ralph Fiennes, you know who that is. Tom Hardy,
Yeah.
you know who that
Tom
is.
Hardy's a good
You know,
call.
Richard
Man,
Madden Richard Madden was in Game of Thrones. You guys might know him as the King of the North originally. He was the original King of the North. You know, when not Jon Snow, but the Stark, the old Robb Stark. He played Robb Stark.
Rob, I
I
couldn't
think
think of his damn name.
I think as Flint, I think he would be solid.
He'd
Great
be
jawline.
he's a good
Um,
actor too.
yeah, he's a good actor. And then Chris Evans as Duke, I could totally see that. Karen Gillan, if you know Karen Gillan, she was also in the MCU, and she played Nebula in the MCU, and she was also in the reboot of Jumanji as the red-haired chick, the fire ass red-haired chick in Jumanji the
Mm-hmm.
reboot. So anyway, but so just to give you an highlight, and just to finish it off quickly with plot highlights. Basically, you have kind of you go through kind of your plot and how these things take place. And it's kind of like, hey, you know, your discovery is the Joe's mission. You know, they discover a manuscript in a Cold War bunker that has been discovered previously, right? But it's in the North Pole, you know, or Antarctic or somewhere like that, right? And then you have the Joes teaming up with the October Guard, Storm Shadow, Quinn, right? In the different places they need to go to. Some of them former enemies, some of them, you know, have their own motives. You have the Joes closing in, you know, with obviously different chases around the globe, and yes, this probably sounds a lot like the Weather Dominator or you know any of the mini series, right? But I think you could adapt those in their own way, right?
Yeah.
And come up with rather, you know, than just your classic laser beam out of the sky or you've got you know, climactic
Is
battle. Storm Shadow confronts his past, makes a sacrifice that maybe changes the course of the conflict. And then you have the manuscript, which its true purpose is revealed and maybe offers messages of hope and unity for the future, but everyone wants to use it as their own. Hey, wait a minute. You're damn
he's got
right I
some
didn't, Viper Scout. There is no Native American in here, you son of a bitch.
Viper Scout's got
He told me
he has some good calls up
I
there.
want to
He
look him
said
up. Let me go back because I've been talking too much. So let me go
I got
back
them
and
starred. I got a
review.
couple of them
Okay,
starred.
very good,
Starred.
very good. And again, that's the reason why I want to say this is because everybody kind of has their own cast members. They say, "Oh, well, Gal Gadot's too tall for Baroness," right? Well, it's the magic of Hollywood, folks, right? Like there's camera angles and such. You know, they're able to, you know,
Yeah,
so there's
the hobbits in Lord of the Rings weren't
yeah,
really short.
right. You know, it's like so they're able to do things in a special way that you know you don't understand or don't see rather. You know what I mean? So yeah, let me go back a little bit and see, and I'd love to see everybody else's kind of chiming in. That's what I love it. That's what it's for. Anything you want to bring up or mention or
No, I was going to ask you if the ancient manuscript was really the plans for the weather dominator.
well, I mean,
That'd be
it
awesome.
very well could be. I mean, you could almost kind of take that whatever way you wanted. It could be
Anything.
anything, right?
Yeah.
Anything. And that's what's so great is you can still take those fantastical ideas that we all have about G.I. Joe and Johnny Reno. Actually, no, they were real. Their feet were gigantic and very hairy.
Harry.
Yes.
No, no, nobody really knew that was really Sean Astin's real feet.
Well, that's the reason why, like, what's his name? Who's the other kid? Sean,
Sean Astin,
well, not just him, but the other kid, the main one, right? The what's his name? That son of a bitch,
Frodo, but
Frodo Baggins. What's his
Elijah
damn
Wood.
name? Elijah Wood, and then you had the kid from Lost, right? The kid from Lost. Did You Are Everybody, whatever that guy. So yeah, those guys, yeah, they actually had really hairy feet. That's why they got cast
Yeah,
because
that's what
they
they was the
literally
casting
have
call.
some of the biggest toes known to man and some of the hairiest feet known to woman. And so so that's why they were cast. I thought everybody knew that.
It's in the commentary on the DVD. They talk about that a little
Listen,
bit.
Robert Downey Jr. had his own flying suit of something, okay? Let's call it for what it is, folks, all right? He was
Flying
flying on
flask.
something.
No. But Viper Scout had said Gary Oldman for Cobra
I
Commander
like Gary Oldman. I
and
do. I like
Jim
Gary Oldman.
Parsons for Airtight. That's actually a pretty good call, man. Sheldon, Big Bang
Sure.
Theory for Airtight.
Airtight. I don't know if I'd want airtight in my first movie. Maybe a sequel down the line, maybe something like that. So who plays the October Guard? Okay, so let's go over that because I didn't actually get because they would be more of a supporting cast, right? So
I'm gonna need
probably
Yakov Smirnov for Colonel
oh
Brekov.
wow. But like one or two of them would probably be more important than the others, right? You could kind of, you could cast a newer actress or actor in those roles, but obviously one or two of them are going to be kind of your main, right? Your
I would
main
say
actors. So who
I
do
would
you
say
like? Who would you like?
if you were gonna bring those guys in any capacity, I would say you would probably just need Colonel Brekov, Diana, and Horror Show
Right? That's
would
what I
really
mean.
be. You don't
Right.
really
So
need Shraj and
no.
Gorky.
No. So then who are they? Who does play them? And
For Horror
maybe
Show, uh the dude that played the mountain,
okay.
Bjorn,
Okay.
what's his
Now,
name?
does he need to have great acting chops? Probably not. Does the
Not for that.
accent work? Or do you need it to be, for instance, what's his name out of Stranger Things, right?
I'm
Who's
I'm
already
sure.
playing, in the new Thunderbolts movie? Is that a guy that you could buy into for horror show?
No, he's not big enough.
Yeah.
Horror shows, the Russian gung
Yeah.
ho. He's not big enough.
Yep.
That's
Right.
why I said
It'd be your David
Mountain.
Harbour character. Is
Yeah,
David Harbour big enough? Could he pull that off, I guess, based off of what
no,
we've seen with him,
I
right?
could see him
As
doing
Alexi.
Brekov. But for horror show, you he wouldn't have to speak that much. I'm sure he could probably you know dialect coach enough. You know rushing to get by on that part. It wouldn't have to be
Right.
perfect. Um, oh, the main one, Helm. What the hell's his name?
Matthew's just being coy.
I
He's
know
being
he's being
cute.
Matthew.
You know, he
I would
knows that
look
you
it
got to
up.
take the person who had the most either A, speaking roles, or the person that truly was on camera face wise, right? I get it with the mountain and being
Halfor
portrayed, but
Julius Bjornsson.
yeah,
That's
well,
who could do horror show.
I mean, that's one of my favorite people. Hopefully it's one of yours too. Um, but
I like a good horror show.
who would be a Breckoff, right? Like who would be Dinah, right? Like that those are fun questions to have. I thought it'd be fun to include them in the story because I think that ultimately you need to have somewhat of a similar team with similar goals, but their own ulterior motives and what they want to do. And of course, being this a Cold War piece, a period piece, they also need to be reporting back to their masters, their heads of
The
state,
Kremlin and
right?
KGB.
And
Yeah.
so even though they may, okay, this time we give you the manuscript, because they know right and wrong, even though they're Soviets, even though they know, and that's what's fun about that. It's something that's kind of missing from current Hollywood. They try to pretend like it's there, but those Cold War era movies that we used to get, right? That you'd have your sympathetic reds every now and then in those
Yeah.
movies. That was fun. That was a fun part of having that, is because a lot of times they would show the humanity. They'd say, yeah, we're on opposing sides, but we still are human. We still have humanity and common threads amongst us. And you know the difference between right and wrong, killing in cold blood and not. And even though you might be a Soviet, and even though I'm American, you still know this is right and this is wrong. And I
Yeah.
miss those kind of plot lines.
Yeah. I think they need to bring that stuff back. Mr. Madgus got a good call there. Idris Elba for Stalker.
I'm good with that
Dude.
too.
Oh,
I'm good with that too.
he got that coolness about him.
Right.
I think he could definitely do a
I
good
guess,
Stalker.
part of this was me looking at, from an age perspective too, and just saying, what would a Cold War version of Stalker look like? And I thought that Mahershala Ali at 51 years old fit the bill a little more than maybe someone who's in their 60s. Right.
Yeah.
But that's just me. That's just from this. But I do love that. I love
He
Idris
don't
Elba.
look it though, man. Black don't
You're
crack.
right. No,
Idris Elba don't.
yeah, 100%. I agree with you, 100%.
He can
Black
pull
don't
it off.
crack, and that's a true story. I have a lot of friends, and you're right. It is, from an age perspective and all that kind of stuff, you're right. And when it comes to acting, and character portrayal, yes, you can, use people that are a little older. But yeah, no, that's a great one. Obviously, that's a great one. I thought about Sylvester Stallone, and I thought, okay, well, obviously, Big Boa would be an easy one to bring him in. But again, for this movie, I was just thinking about starting out, right, getting the franchise started, getting it rolling, and you need some of those originals like your Scarlet, your
Oh yeah.
Duke. I like Flynn, even though he's not an original, right? And then bring me Destro, bring me Cobra Commander. I like Storm Shadow and OP's Matthew Matson. I didn't make him just a bad guy. He's actually a disgraced bad guy who wants to help. And he has friends he used to fight with in Vietnam because,
Hang
Matthew's
on,
all
hang on,
about that. He
hang on,
loves.
hang on.
And you got your Judy chop, all right? You got your karate chop, and you got your ninja chop.
About Ninjas and Matthews.
That's
Gotta play
right.
it at least once.
My God.
So,
Matthew,
yeah, man,
Michael B. Jordan is
hey,
Stalker. That's good.
he could pull it off. I could see him. I could see him pulling it off.
Yeah, man. There's so many good ones, and I think the fun part about like something like this is that if everybody that's in here, all 20 people and people that have come in and gone and back and forth, and all the people you and I know, we see in Punk's chat, we see in all the chats, right? Every stream, that if we all really put our heads together and then ended up narrowing it down, right? And you had your polls and you said, yeah, you know what? I really do like Michael B. Jordan, but if 35 people versus 8 people decide he's not right for the role, then let's narrow it down to this other person, right? Let's all vote for it. And let's all come up with our ideal Joe movie with our characters and our subplot and and that would be a lot of fun to do because I think you have so many voices chiming in. And I think ultimately at the end of the day, we'd all start to really narrow it down and really dial it in and figure out
Yeah,
who does everybody like? Who would
that
everybody
could be
want?
that could be a good community
I agree.
fellowship project to
Yeah.
undertake is spread it across some different channels and figure out a way to make our ultimate GI Joe cast for whatever. I think that'd be
If it's a
cool.
show, right? If it's a TV show, it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a movie, obviously, right? Because you can flesh a lot of these characters out, and
So
that it'd be a lot of fun to me.
so speaking about shows, I'll run through the characters that I would like to see in a series.
Yeah,
So you can intertwine several of these characters and plot lines and introducing them. So and obviously there could be some others with cameos bringing in or working in or whatever. So, you'd have to start with backstories or do like some of the Marvel shows like Punisher and Daredevil that I showed a future episode, go back and show that person's backstory and how they fit into it. You could do all of that with a series, and that's why I would rather see something like a series because you don't have to cram them all together and you can get the development and you just get more with it. So for the characters I'd like to see with the backstory and develop for Cobra worked in Cobra Commander, we got to have his backstory. At some
do
point,
we?
you got to,
Do we need
yeah.
his backstory though?
I,
Because I don't think I want to see his backstory.
if we're doing a series, I want to know why he's so disenfranchised and why he wants to conquer the world. I want to see it. I want to see him build himself up from nothing to just this evil genius bitter dude that creates his own army of domestic terrorists, fanatics, whatever. I want to see that. I want to see Destro and the Baroness. I want to see how they meet and what their history is, if they have any. Um, Storm Shadow, Zartan, and all of those work in together. If you're going off of the comic, you got Storm Shadow, Zartan, Cobra Commander, Snake Eyes, Firefly. Those are all intertwined. And Major Blood are the main characters I would like to see intertwined on Cobra, and some of the ones that you could work in and have little cameos or bit parts just to show them as part of the story. I actually would like to see how they could pull Crocmaster in,
Okay.
Xandar and Zorana, and Scrap Iron. And then on the Joe side, you got to have Duke, you got to have Hawk because you got to show how the team gets conceptualized and put together. Snake Eyes and Stalker. Again, you've got the whole thing with Cobra Commander and Zartan, Firefly, Scarlet, Flint, and Lady J. And then for the kind of side characters for G.I. Joe, Roadblock, Clutch, and Rock and Roll.
Okay.
Uh, Bring them on as once the team maybe starts getting off the ground and hey, this is our mechanic, this is our motor pool guy, this is Roadblock just transferred in from wherever, have him showing up and, showing up as a chef, and then like,
Right.
hey, you're pretty good with that big ass machine gun, you shot expert with that. That kind of stuff. And you could do that over even just like a couple of seasons and do it kind of the way this Energon universe comic is coming about, where if you wanted to, once you get it all tied together, get the stories established, animosities, past rivals, whatever, then maybe you could wrap that into a movie. There's just too much. That was where the two movies that we got, and I ain't even counting Snake Eyes because that was
No,
a
that movie
separate
sucks,
deal.
asshole. That's
Well,
terrible.
it was separate continuity.
It still sucks.
Yeah, it still sucks. I've still never watched it start to finish. I've seen it all in chunks. I can't
Right.
watch it all. But that was where those two movies failed, was they used the wrong actors and they tried to cram too much backstory and history together, and it just felt so clunky.
Yeah.
And then they painted it with the layer of the futuristic bullshit.
Yeah.
If they'd have stripped some of that away, did a little better casting instead of just trying to get that the name recognition, box office draw, and hired actors that fit the characters, those movies could have been something. Even if they put in the sci-fi crap, if they'd had the right characters playing the actors playing the characters, I think those movies actually could have been a lot better than what they were. I think that's what really killed a lot of those movies, were they picked the wrong actors to play the parts.
Yeah, and also I think ultimately you just, you really do need to have kind of your I get it with nanotech and stuff like that, it's fantastical. And again, I brought that up. We brought that up, it's part and parcel with the IP. But at the same time, it's just like I mean, it's almost just like what we talk about with a hooded Cobra Commander. It's like, you if it's fantastical, then you can't be afraid to go places. You can't be afraid to use certain characters,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't be afraid to portray these things as real as you want to in a way. And I think in some ways, realistic is the way to go. I think in other ways, it's like, yes, you can introduce some of that other stuff as well, but that's out of the norm. That's not just so grounded, because I think we went through a period of time with superhero movies in particular where everything had to be Dark Knight,
Yeah.
right? And when everything's Dark Knight, you lose the ability to have some of the fantastical. And it has to be. And everybody judges it based off of its groundedness. And when you try to do something outside the box, then you get criticized for it because it's not grounded. It's not dark and gritty. And I think sometimes that's a detriment. So, for me, I think, that Cold War theme, I think a writer hit it on the head a few years ago, and it came out of a magazine or an online web, company that we would not have expected it from, like a Collider or
Right.
a Hollywood Reporter, whatever. But there was a writer, and I think you probably remember this because I know I brought it up and talked about it a couple of times, that said, G.I. Joe needs to go to a place where it's familiar. It was of a period. It needs to be unabashedly from that time period, and shouldn't be scared to go to the 80s as a period piece, a pro-patriotic, super American type thing. And they've been so scared of that recently because of whatever reasons, but it's got to be international, and we've got to include every single type of person from every.
We've got to gender and race swap a couple characters because that's what everybody does now.
But it's a real American hero. And the thing of it is, what's kind of gotten lost, we need real American heroes. There's nothing wrong with having real American heroes. That's okay. And no one should be ashamed to admit that they'd like to see that. It's just like Superman. Truth, justice, and the American way. Not truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.
Yeah.
The shit doesn't work.
What do you think about Morgan Freeman as Cobra Commander?
So I think that Morgan Freeman as Cobra Commander would be a bad idea. That's a terrible Morgan Freeman. But my point is, no. No. As a matter of fact, I thought about this earlier. The characters with masks, I don't even need an actor. I need a voice actor. I want a voice actor. I want someone that's recognizable from a voice acting. That to me is far more important for characters that have their faces covered like a Cobra Commander or a Destro, really truthfully, than a well-known or a actor of some kind, because that actor is limited unless, of course, like we've seen, you got to take the mask off, and it's just like the Falcon movie, this Captain America movie. Every time Cap lands, guess what happens? His mask comes off before he fights, because you got to know it's him before he starts fighting with his mask off. And it's like, yeah, but that's stupid, because you'd want to keep your mask on. So my whole point is like, I would rather have a great voice actor, even a video game voice actor, a Nolan North, a Troy Baker, a Mark Hamill, as much as it pains me to say it. I would love to have a great voice actor for those characters that have masks than an actor that we all recognize, because we'd rather, when you think of Cobra Commander, do you think of him as a car salesman or in a mask? When you think of Destro, do you think of him with a mask or with a mask off? Right?
Yeah, you don't want to see those guys with their mask.
I don't need to see him. I don't need to know that.
Now, for somebody like Cobra Commander, you were asking about the backstory.
See, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know that I need that.
Do the backstory without ever showing his face.
I agree.
They did it in the comic.
There you go. I agree. So that's exactly right. And I like that. I like that idea. So for me, I would much prefer, and I think this is a mistake that a lot of movies and a lot of series make, is that you have someone maybe in a cartoon, and of course these guys are Michael Bell, they're far too old, but you know what I'm saying. Ratner or whoever, is that take someone and they do that well. This is their specialty, and they're great at portraying emotion. So if you're only going to have their voice, then give that role to someone, and then just hire a nobody to wear the damn mask who can do the stunts or the acting work, the body work. That's the perfect solution. There's no reason to cast a well-known, high-paid actor, in a sense, for roles like that. And I think it would solve a lot of problems, and it would make it more believable for a lot of people in movies like this if you had someone who specialized in voice acting. I mean, that's just, to me,
I'm on board with that. Yeah. I mean, that's for the mass people. Yeah. No, I mean, you got to make a concession for Snake Eyes, but you got to have somebody that can move, and you don't need a voice. But for everybody else, it don't freaking matter.
Yeah. And Viper Scout, like, I'm not saying Mark Hamill for Cobra Commander, but my point being is that Mark Hamill is a far better voice actor than he ever was an actor. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. You can have Corvette Summer, and you can have the Star Wars movies, and that's about it when it comes to Mark Hamill. Let's not kid ourselves.
Well, don't forget he was Cockknocker in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, no. Oh, that's right. Well, he's also a cockknocker right now. He's fucking.
Why do they call you Cockknocker? It's a funny story.
and Johnny Reno's right. Most of these legendary voices are dead, but there are video game actors. There are people who do this for a living. They're really
somebody's
good at it.
Doing it. Still.
Animation,
still making anime,
the Justice League stuff, right? The DC movies, the animated movies they put out for DC and all that stuff. There's some really, 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 really good actors out there, and you only need them for their voice. You don't need them to act, and so that's all I'm saying, especially for something like this. And Joseph said, "Penguin?" ? Penguin? ?
I don't need Penguin in G.I. Joe. Maybe Penguin is Headman.
He's going somewhere with that, and I'm not quite sure where he's going with it. But joking around. But no, you are correct.
I did not see Mark Hamill in
I
Arrow.
did.
I've never seen one episode.
Yeah, I saw that. My ex used to love watching Arrow. But yeah, you get my point. I mean, and Guyver was stupid. That's that B-rated, C-rated action, straight to VHS bullshit. You know what I'm talking about, Viper Scout. Don't kid yourself. Don't convince yourself that was some good shit. Now let's slow our roll, Turbo, just a little bit.
Renegade Biker had said Chris Latta passed away and he was always Cobra
I
Commander. And
agree.
I agree, but
I
the
agree with you.
dude that is doing Starscream's voice now
I agree.
is pretty damn good.
I agree. And that's what I'm talking about. And so if you're going to do something like this, and like you said, you could do the backstory without showing the face.
Yep.
It's all about how you do it and how you tell that story, and you can do it without being so on the nose.
And
having
Dave says Ray Parks is perfect for Snake Eyes. Dude
Yeah,
never
but
speaks anyway. I
I'm
think I liked him as Snake Eyes with the way he moved. He's
That's
the right
fine.
size.
That's fine.
Can he still
But
do it? I
well,
don't
that's
know.
my
But
point. Like what I was mentioning earlier about talking about this movie is like I had to kind of update it a little bit, right?
right,
We need
newer
newer.
people.
I don't need a 60-year-old guy trying to flip around like Snake Eyes. And I
Yeah,
didn't even, if you noticed, I didn't
there's a new
even.
Ray Park somewhere.
There 100% is, and if you notice, I also did not include Snake Eyes in this story. This
I did notice that.
no, there is no Snake Eyes.
I'm fine
I
with
prefer the Storm Shadow Disgraced. If you want to go that route, I like that much better than the Snake Eyes character. Yes, if you want to bring him in as part of the Vietnam triumvirate, right, with Stalker and Storm Shadow, then fine.
See,
But
you
don't need
can
him.
bring Snake Eyes in, and he doesn't have to be the story.
Nope.
You can have him without having him being the unkillable super ninja. Bring him in as a fucking commando that knows martial arts. Maybe he even carries a katana. Maybe he did
Right.
study with Storm Shadow. That
Right.
don't mean he has got to be fucking Captain America in a black suit.
And I'm not saying that he wasn't in G.I. Joe. I just think that we've seen it so many times. It's like, can we just take a little bit of a break from it? You know what I mean? And then work his way in at some point in time. And second movie, and then you see someone at the beginning of the movie who takes out a whole squadron of people, and then all of a sudden all you see is like, the mask, or you see the suit without the mask from behind. And you're like, well, I know the fuck that is. You know what I mean? Like
just
something like that.
Rambo tying on the headband in Rambo from behind.
Yes, exactly. Right? There's just tried and true, man. There's just so many ways to film things and write things, and we don't need it just spelled out for us like school children. Let us use our imaginations. Let us decipher things on our own. We don't need exposition heavy movies all the time.
Nope, not at all. So that was our idea for our movies and our series and all of that stuff. Did you see Menjosa's comment I had highlighted there? We were talking about Good Under the Mask. That's what.
Yeah.
You didn't know Colin Farrell, and that was why I liked the Penguins, because I didn't.
Right. Okay. So that's 100%. And there were people I talked to at work who didn't know that was him under the mask.
Yeah.
And that's masterclass acting. That's also masterclass makeup. And you don't always get that. Right, you don't always get that, but those two departments.
And makeup, no CGI.
That's right. So
less CGI for our stories.
The makeup department, head over heels, knocked it out of the park, and then obviously Colin Farrell did just such an amazing job, and will probably get or has been passed over for awards for something like, well, never mind. Anyway, so I'm not even bringing it up, but nonetheless, yeah, man, it'd be fun. I would love it. I mean, a franchise that I love so much, an IP that I love so much and care about, that not shaped my childhood, but was such a big part of it. I'd love to see it done right, and I think a lot of us would love to see it
for the most part.
Yeah, and I think all of us would really truly love to see that. Austin Butler almost made my list, Mendoza, almost. But I don't think Austin Butler could pull off the twins.
Tim Roth as Hooded Cobra Commander was my pick for.
Okay, yeah.
I can see Tim Roth.
That role needs gravitas, So no matter
Mhm.
what actor, and that's why I said maybe, it's somebody that's more of a voice actor than an actor, and I'm okay with that. But nonetheless, gravitas is something that needs to be brought to certain roles. Destro needs gravitas. Cobra Commander needs gravitas. These are roles, they're not normal people. They're extraordinary people who have extraordinary lives and they do extraordinary things. And there's a certain level of confidence and that's needed with those roles, and it has to come through from the voice because they're masked characters. So you need people who can do that through their voice and their voice only.
Got
Uh,
a I got another one I just thought of that could do Cobra Commander, or could probably pull off Destro. I don't know if he's quite imposing enough physically to pull off Destro, but Christoph Waltz, uh
yeah, yeah,
Hans
I mean,
Linda.
yeah, maybe so, but again, it's like, we see the whole thing of it, right? Like, other roles and different things they played, and but he is a fantastic actor. Now, I will tell you, Renegade, you start tugging at my heartstrings when you start talking about David Lee Roth now. Okay, just you better stop because you're gonna make me fall in love with you. I am a David Lee Roth simp all the way. I love Diamond David Lee Roth. So, is he
Gotta
related?
love.
I don't think so. But by
Hey,
God, anybody that can jump off of a 15-foot drum riser and do the splits in the air drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels has my vote for president. Well, at least in
no,
1984.
yeah, yeah, 40 years ago, yeah, probably so. So that is our ideas for our movies and stuff. I appreciate you guys chiming in. This what we wanted was input from you guys
Hell yeah.
on this, especially on my end because I didn't really do a lot of preparation
Ah,
for it.
dude,
So
you know what?
uh,
That's okay. I mean, it's,
you know,
you're a lot busier schedule than I've got. We talk about it all the time. So,
um, so we're gonna get it wrapped up for the night. I do have a new outro that I want to play for you guys here in just a minute. So
uh-oh,
Um,
uh-oh.
so what do you have coming up, Pop Blender? What's going on your channel or wherever you're going to be? What you doing?
Friday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 Central. I'll bring another unfiltered one mo again, and we're gonna maybe go over a little more cap news, not much. I'm gonna bring up a couple of articles regarding that as the media tries to again tell everybody the reason why they don't like it is because Captain America is black, which is bullshit, and we all know it at this point. It has to do more with the character and character progression and being a well-written movie than anything else. But they're still hanging on. They're still pulling those threads of gaslighting for us as a crowd. And then yeah, a little political shit. We got a few more things. Plane crashes galore. We just had two more today. The Ontario crash upside down. Thank God nobody was injured. That shit is crazy. We'll look at
That's
those
crazy.
videos. So, so yeah, yeah, not black, but black, Matthew Matson. That
Black.
is correct. But yeah, man, no, that's it. I mean, usual unfiltered, man. If anybody feels like hanging out and listen to me ramble on and act like a goofy ass and show some funny videos and, TikTok shit, or not TikTok shit, but, just people losing their minds and some goofy stuff. That's what I do on a Friday night, and try to at least bring a little bit of some news stories. So yeah, so Friday night unfiltered, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. That's what I got going on, and obviously next Tuesday with Matthew. But that's the norm. Other than that, man, that's about it. That's all I got going right now.
Well, you're feeling better. You got some reviews you can do.
Well, and I was gonna mention it actually, and I'm glad you did. But yeah, no, it finally the fog has lifted. So the table has been out now for weeks, a month and a half practically, but about a month. The table's been out. The microphones are charged up. The lapel mics, and so yes, I need to knock out some reviews. I've got two to do in particular, really three that I need to do, figure reviews that none of you would be interested in because I'm not that good at it. But if you're interested, hopefully I'll be able to get those out quickly and do those probably maybe on my day off Friday day before my stream. So I'll do what I can.
Word. Well, I will be getting a review out on dial tone. Hopefully,
Hell
I'll
yeah.
get that done tomorrow night and up some point tomorrow night. And I will be back here next week with Crusty Old Crow for Backyard Battlefield. But this Sunday, I will be on with Allison Troy, Retro Toy
Oh
Print.
yeah.
That's Sunday, and I think I got to confirm the time with her. I think we're doing that
Okay.
one. I think it's 1 my time, 1 central. I got to confirm, but check Allison's channel if you guys aren't subscribed to Allison. She does some really chill coloring streams, puts on some music, just kind of talks and
Shoots the
real
shit
chill,
and
chill
colors
to
and stuff.
listen to. Yeah, just have a conversation, do some coloring. We're going to be coloring I hope we're gonna make it to all of it, but I'm not real good at it. So
Okay.
we're gonna be doing some Care Bears, got a Motu picture and a Joe picture. So I don't know if we'll get through all of it. That's just kind of see how it goes. Other than that, that's what I got going on.
Well, one thing I did want to mention, and I'm going to mention it every week and every stream leading up is March the 7th. I will be having a Punk with Toys on a Friday night, unfiltered with me, to get into some stuff with him and ask him some questions and try to ask him some questions of stories that you guys haven't heard before, because I know you've heard a lot of them. I know you've heard the usual stuff. I'm hoping to maybe do something a little different with him and have some different questions and conversation with him and a little bit of fun on a Friday night. Just a couple hours. We're not going to go 4 hours or nothing like that, but a couple hours to hang out with Punk. But that's going to be on March the 7th on an unfiltered stream, same time, 10:30 Eastern. But I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to having him on and maybe kind of, as I say, turn the tables, so to speak.
Yeah.
Different take on Thursday with a friend. It'll be Friday with me, Yutch. But
Friday.
But also, yeah, March the 7th, and I'll actually be looking forward to doing that with a few people. I've kind of reached out and had initial conversations with some other people about possibly doing that, and so hopefully moving forward, I'd like to do that. So just to remind everybody, that'll be March 7th. But as we get closer, I'll let you guys know more. But that's that, baby.
Glad you brought that back up. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We got 20 here, so hit that like if you hadn't. Helps in that algae rhythm. I certainly appreciate it. And how long before we will be back, Pop Blender?
Well, I think hit it.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Get ready for a surprise.